finding herself in an unfamiliar room. What turn does Matteo's sudden appearance bring? In this game of power and betrayal, who are the true allies and who are the enemies lurking in the shadows? Want to explore the mysterious connection between Camilla and Matteo? Subscribe to our channel and unlock the prologue of their destiny. 01 Camilla's POV. An automatic smile appears on my face as I feel the cold breeze pass through me. I sigh with contentment. Just for a moment, my problems and worries were forgotten. Cam. I hear my best friend calling for me. I make no effort in turning around as I hear footsteps jogging towards me. Within seconds, I feel presence on my left and right. Ooh, it's chilly tonight, Haley says as she shivers a little and then cuddles close to me. I love it, I state, smiling a little as another cold breeze passed through me. I thought you'd be here when I didn't see you inside. Parker says you know me too well. I softly smile and Parker returns it. Well, the mess has been dealt with when you left. He was thrown in the cells. You don't have to worry about him anymore. Haley says. I sigh and nod. 20 minutes ago my family together with the Pax Beta and Delta are eating dinner together. You see, my dad, his Beta, and Delta have been friends since they were kids. They grew up together and are pretty much like brothers. My grandpa passed his title down to Dad and Dad appointed his best friends as Beta and Delta. The previous Beta and Delta only had daughters, and since Dad trusts his two best friends and sees their potential, he appointed them to be his second and third. Haley is the Beta's daughter and Parker is the Delta's son. Haley has a little brother, Parker has a little sister and brother, and I have an overly protective big brother who I can lean on. Haley and I were gossiping when the doorbell rang. I'll get it, I say. I get up and jog towards the door. I open the door and see Daniel with a bouquet of roses. Daniel. Hi Camilla. These are for you. Daniel smiles and thrusts the bouquet into my hands. Thanks, I guess. Why are you here? Please give me another chance. I already said no, Daniel. I say. Camilla. Please. He begs. Cam, who's at the SU? Parker says in annoyance. Parker. Are you serious, Camilla? Him. Last time I checked. I'm her best friend and you're the creep who's obsessed with her. What right do you have getting upset? Parker growls. Stay out of this, man. This is between me and Camilla. Daniel growls. Annoyed. There is nothing between you and Camilla. Parker shots back. I suggest you to leave before I inform my dad that you're bothering me again. I tell Daniel. No, baby. Please. Daniel begs, grabbing my hand. Get your hands off of her. Parker growls as I try to free my hand. Suddenly, Daniel pulls me towards him and traps me in his arms, then takes off. Alpha. Daniel is kidnapping Camilla. I hear Parker alert my dad before coming after Daniel. In a split second, Dad and Ben are right in front of him. Daniel didn't even get that far. Some balls you have, an attempt kidnapping my sister, Daniel. Ben growls, his wolf showing. I guess you really want to be chained in the cells, or better yet, get banished. Dad growls, his wolf also showing. Daniel steps back, only to bump into Jonathan, the Beta. In a swift motion, Jonathan grabs me from Daniel, pushes me gently towards Parker and Haley, and then pushes Daniel to the ground. You okay? Parker asks me, looking for any possible injuries. I'm okay, I say, calming myself while Haley rubs my back comfortingly. Daniel starts squirming angrily and shouting for me. Camilla, baby. You will learn to love me. I am the only one for you. I am your mate. Yikes. Parker cringes and shudders. Someone's delusional. Haley snorts. Not wanting to be in the middle of this mess, I slip out of my best friend's comfort and ran to the lake. Daniel was a creep who had been stalking and asking to take me out again after the first date. I agreed on a date with him when he first asked. He was cute and I was feeling a little bit hopeless in finding my mate. It had been 5 years since I've turned 18. Since then I haven't met my mate. Anyway, the date just felt really weird and I was uncomfortable the whole time. Even my wolf, Carla, felt uneasy. Back to present time. Come on, let's go back to the dinner, Haley says as she holds her hand out for me to grab. I grab hold of her hand and the three of us walk back into our house. The Alpha, Beta, and Delta all live together in one mansion. Once I opened the back door, my parents came rushing to me and hugged me. Oh sweetie, where were you? Mom asks me worriedly as she searches for any possible injuries on me. I just needed a breather. I'm okay, I say, reassuring my parents, and they let out a relieved sigh. Don't scare us like that ever again. Mom says. I nod. You don't have to worry about Daniel anymore, my dear. He's chained in the cells. He won't bother you anymore. Dad says. I smile and nod. Thanks, Dad, for everything. Anything to keep you safe, my dear. Dad says, kissing my forehead. I could have beat him to pulp. Ben grumbles, his eyes shifting from his brown to blue back and forth. Benedict. Mom scolds. My brother sighs. Sorry. For the record, I know you could and would, brother. I say, giggling. Ben smirks as Mom sighs and Dad shakes his head with a hint of amusement on his eyes. Anyway, let's continue with dinner. Dad says, and we go back to our seats. 02 Camilla's POV. It's been a week since the Daniel mess. I've started my Luna studies yesterday because Mom said that my mate might be at my brother's alpha ceremony, and also because I've delayed the training for too long. Dad is retiring his position as alpha soon and he is passing it on to my brother so as the beta and delta positions. My brother, Haley's little brother, and Parker are about to be alpha, beta, and delta of this pack. Haley would have been the beta, but she didn't want to in case she meets her mate in the ceremony. Ben's alpha ceremony is happening next month and I'm close to finishing my training. Mom's really quick and thorough with teaching me and I guess I'm just a fast learner. Points to Dad for giving me the fast learning genetics. Currently, I'm following my mom around as I observe her attend her duties. The pack house has been busy lately. The Omegas are helping in decorating for the ceremony in our ballroom, while the cooks are experimenting and practicing the dishes here and there to make the food for the ceremony delicious. Sweetie, will you please go and check the kitchen? Mom tells me as she goes and helps with the decoration. On it, I say and leave the ballroom. On my way to the kitchen, I hear two female werewolves gossiping in hushed tones. Did you hear the Alpha King is attending as well? Yes. I can't wait to see his handsome face. I bet he's my mate. Oh please, he's mine. I'm hot, he's hot. Just makes sense. I clear my throat and the two Omegas jump and turn their heads to me. I think you have jobs to do instead of gossiping. I say in my Luna tone. We apologize. Murphy. One of them says and they both scurry away with the last box of decorations. Sighing, I continue my way to the kitchen.
Matteo si piovu kumin.
I say when someone knocked on my office door. Alpha. Levi greets as he and Kyle bows. What is it? I ask as my eyes are still on the documents. We received an invitation to the Alpha ceremony of White Eclipse Pack. Levi says as he hands me the invitation. I look through the details and nod. I look up. And the Alpha finally looks at us. Kyle jokes. I frown. Kidding. Anyway, we're attending, right? Kyle asks. Yes, we are. Inform the head patrol guards to guard our land well while we're out. I say. Levi and Kyle nods. I just mind-link the north and south head guards, Alpha. Levi says. Me too with the east and west guards. Kyle says. Good. Sue. Levi starts as he settles down on the chair in front of me, and Kyle smirks as he gets comfortable on the long couch. What? I say. Alpha ceremony. Kyle trails off, smirking. Just spit it out, you two. I groan, knowing what they're going to say. Maybe your mate will be there. Levi says and Kyle's smirk widens. I sigh loudly. It has been 9 years since I've turned 18 and I have yet to find my mate. Truth is, I stopped putting effort in finding her after 5 years of trying, and now I don't know whether or not I want to find her again. The mate bond makes you crazy possessive and protective over your mate. Not only that, but it gives your enemies an idea on how to take you down. Although I am the Alpha King, I still have enemies left who wants my title and the power that comes with it. Not this again. I grumble and focus back on the document. Come on, Matt. Don't you want to try again? Kyle asks. No. I'm still busy making this pack stronger and untouchable. This pack is already stronger than before, and no wolf on their right mind will trespass on our territory. You've achieved your mission already. Why not try to find her again? Kyle asks. No. I say. But what if you find her in the Alpha ceremony? What would you do? Levi asks. I don't know. I answer honestly. Levi sighs. Warm up, Matt. It's been years. Nobody can and will hurt your loved ones anymore. Don't you feel lonely? Plus, this pack needs their destined Luna Queen. Levi says. Exactly. Kyle adds. I say nothing and continue with the papers. They both sigh. Levi was about to say something when someone knocks on the door. Come in. I say. Alpha, Beta, Delta. The guard greets and bows. What is it? Levi asks back to his beta mode. There has been a rogue situation at the west side, but it has been taken care of. The guard reports good. Did any escape? Kyle asked. None. Delta, we kept him alive for questioning. He's in the cells. Okay, good. I'll be there in a minute. The guard bows then leaves. With a sigh, Levi leaves to attend the rogue in the cell while Kyle leaves to check on the border and the patrol guards. Camilla's POVM. Tastes good. Keep up the good work. I say with smile. The chef's beams at me and bows. Thank you, Ms. Murphy. I leave the kitchen and suddenly got attacked by Haley. Tell me you don't have a dress yet for the alpha ceremony. Actually, I pause and see the hopeful glint in Haley's eyes. I do. I finish. Haley lightly groans and slumps beside me while I giggle. Well, I don't, and it's almost the ceremony. Haley exclaims it's still next month. Besides the point. We're going shopping and you are helping me. Haley says determined. But I'm still in the middle of my Luna practice. Don't worry, I've got your mom's permission. Now let's go. Haley says and drags me to her car. The rest of the day was spent on helping Haley find her dress for the ceremony. We finally arrive home at around 10 p.m. and we were met with an angry alpha to be, and beta. I mentally wince at the nagging we're about to face. This is your fault. I whisper to Haley, sending her a glare. Oh, shut up, miss, I have a dress but I'll buy another one anyway. Haley shot back silence. Dad's voice booms and I swear the floor and the entire house shook a bit. Haley and I zip our lips and face down. Where have you two been? Jonathan asks calmly. Damn, we're both in deep trouble. When Uncle Jonathan is angry but asks questions calmly, you know you're in deep trouble. Shopping. Haley answers for 5 hours. Dad asks, clearly almost losing it. We lost track of time. I trailed off and then the nagging starts. Telling us that we're both alpha and beta daughters and without guards, it's dangerous to be out until late at night, and etc. Before Dad, Ben, or Uncle Jonathan could utter another word, Mom and Aunt Joyce, Haley's mom, came down and stand in between us. They both calm their mates down and pushes them away. Aunt Joyce pulls Uncle Jonathan out of the door, and Mom pushes Dad towards the kitchen. That leaves us with Ben. You both know you can't go out without guards and yet you still went. We're sorry. You both will now have an 8 p.m. curfew. Haley and I groan. Is that clear? Ben asks. As I open my mouth to fight back, Ben narrows his eyes at me and I sigh. Crystal. I mumble. Good. Now go to your rooms. Haley and I pick up our respective bags and climb up the stairs and to our rooms. Page 03. Camilla's POV. It's finally the alpha ceremony. Ben is finally going to be the alpha, Luis as the new beta and Parker as the new delta. Alphas together with their betas and deltas start to arrive to our land. Some alpha daughters are also present. Group by group they file into the ballroom. As my parents greet our guests, I was in charge of checking everything one last time. Hello, Busy Bee. You're looking like a princess. I turn and see Haley and Parker beaming and grinning at me. It's been a while since we saw the ballroom look so pretty. Parker says. Speaking of pretty, Haley, that dress looks so good on you. I smile, thank you. Haley grins. I'll get back to you guys later. I have to check on the buffet table in the kitchen. I say. Okay, see you later. Haley says as we part ways. Matteo's POV. We're here. Levi says. I look out and see other alphas with their betas and deltas and a few alpha daughters going in. For some reason Mason, my wolf, is feeling restless. Alright. Let's go. I say, pushing aside what my wolf is feeling. We walk through the hallway and finally arrive to the ballroom. The previous alpha and Luna greeting us. Alpha King, I'm glad that you could make it, as well as you, Beta Levi and Delta Kyle. Theo says as he bows, thank you for inviting us. Levi smiles politely. This is my mate, Luna Rosalie. Theo introduces, pleasure to make your acquaintance. Rosalie bows with a polite smile on her face. Likewise. Kyle says with a smile. Please enjoy your time here while we wait. Theo says. I nod and we walk in. Steps away from the door. I smell a faint intoxicating scent. Mason begins jumping around my mind. Do you guys smell that? I ask, smell what? Roses and mint. Yeah, I do. Kyle says and then leaves to follow the scent. It's not roses and mint. I trail off. Mason whines in my mind. Mason, calm your ass down. I can't. I need to know what smell that is. Sighing, Levi and I go around and greet other alphas, who lets out a relieved sigh once we're done conversing and out of their way. Minutes later, it's finally time. Theo goes to the top of the stairs and clears his throat. He delivers his speech as the previous alpha of their pack. Then the passing of titles began. We all clap when it ended, and then the new alpha says a few welcoming words. With that said, enjoy the food and treats that we have prepared for you. Thank you, he says. As he ends, the scent is back and roaming around the room. Go find out what it is. Mason tells me as I was about to, the new alpha comes and greets me. Alpha King, thank you for coming, he says as he bows. Congratulations on your new position, Alpha Ben. I say thank you. And then he and Levi start conversing. Matt, the scent. Mason reminds me. Shut your mouth, hold on. I grumble. I try to find the scent, but again it's gone. What the hell? Mason whines. I sigh. I mind-link Levi that I'll be out by the garden to get some air and to calm Mason down. Mason, you have to calm down. Don't tell me to calm down when the scent smells important and lovely. Your Majesty. I turn around and see Theo coming towards me. Yes, hello, I say, displaying my normal stone-cold face. I have some matters to discuss with you, he says in a serious tone. What is it? I think it's better to discuss this in my son's office. I've mind-linked him about the matter, and will be joining us after greeting everyone. I nod. Lead the way. Camilla's POV. I let out a sigh as I've double-checked everything. Mom, everything is set and going well. I mind-linked Mom. Good job, sweetie. Relax and enjoy the party. Mom replies. I walk towards the bar and grab a non-alcoholic drink. It's part of my practice as Luna. A Luna must not drink alcoholic drinks during a party she and her alpha hosted. A Luna should always stay alert and make sure everything is going smoothly. I remember my mom said during my lessons. My eyes look around the room and spot my brother, who looks at me and beckons me to go to him. Halfway to my brother, I can smell that scent again. Cammy, let's find that scent first. It's faint but still there. Carla bugs me. Fine. Hold on. I make my way to my brother and display my polite smile. This is my sister, Camilla Murphy. Camilla, this is Alpha Jack and Beta Darwin of Moonlight Pack. My brother introduces. Pleasant to meet you. I say likewise. The Alpha smiles. After a few exchanging words, I excuse myself and give Carla the control to find the scent. We walk out of the ballroom and up to the second floor. We arrive to the double doors of my father's, my brother's office. I smell my dad's scent and the mysterious intoxicating scent. The office? Who would it be here? Aside from father. What if it's an intruder? I ask, panicking a little. Oh, come on, Cammy. We have the strictest patrol guards. Right. Just open the door and we'll know. I reach out to open the door. Suddenly feeling scared, I retract my hands. Wait. I'm not ready. I'm scared. I say, you'll be okay, Cammy. I'm here. If I sense danger, I'll take over, okay? I breathe out. Okay. In a swift motion, I reach out and open the doors. This was the moment that felt like I was in one of those movies that went in slow motion when something big happens to the main character. I was overwhelmingly hit with that scent once I opened the door. My father turns around, revealing an attractive man, looking at me with his cold, blue-green eyes. He is the most attractive man I've ever laid eyes on. He has the most beautiful big blue-green eyes I've ever seen. Perfect pink lips and groomed eyebrows. Sharp jawline and soft point nose. Camilla. I hear my dad calling for me, mate. The scent was him. Carla tells me C04 Camilla's POV. The stranger and I keep staring at each other. Cammy, he's our mate. His wolf's name is Mason. Carla tells me in excitement, keep your panties on, will you? How can I when our mates smell and look so good? Oh my goddess. Camilla. My eyes finally break the eye contact with my mate and shifts to my dad. I hear my mate grumble lowly. Alpha King, this is my daughter, Camilla. Camilla Alpha King. I suddenly say, shocked, yes, my dear. Why? Oh no. No. I'm gonna be the Luna Queen. Suddenly, I feel overwhelmed by the information and my destined position. Without another thought, I turn and run. Camilla. My dad's yell echoes through the hallway. Cammy. What the hell are you doing? Go back. Carla yells. I can't. I reply and block Carla out as well as my mind link. I let my legs pick the destination and I arrive to the garden. My favorite place in the pack house. I settle down on the bench and catch my breath. Luna Queen. I'm going to be the Luna Queen. Seriously, Moon Goddess. Luna Queen. I walk over to the railing, hands on the railing as I sigh. I need to talk to someone. I hesitantly open my connection with Carla. Cammy. Carla calls me softly. I'm sorry I blocked you out. Cammy, it's okay. I know how you feel. We are destined to be the Luna Queen. Moon Goddess knows what she's doing. Carla tells me. I know. It's a really important and heavy role. I don't know if I'm fit to be a Luna Queen. Heck, do I even deserve the Alpha King as my mate? Sweetie, that question is too early to ask, but of course you do. Carla tells me we do. She adds. And you know, Mason and his human seem like a good wolf and human. There's just something about the human. Carla trails off. Oh great. I sigh. We'll be okay, Cammy. Promise. And I just know if Carla promises something, then we'll be okay. Okay. I smile. Just then I smell him. I turn around and see him coming towards me. His eyes had shifted to dark red, filled with anger and a hint of hurt. Oh, hot mama, he's mad and Mason is in control. That's hot.
Carla pur sospechata. Carla.
That's enough from you. Go to the timeout corner. I say and block her before I hear her laugh. Mate. He lowly growls. I freeze. My breathing suddenly quicken and I back away slowly as he continues walking towards me. Why did you run? He asks as he comes closer. I stutter. My back hit the railing. Crap. Suddenly, he traps me in between his arms. His body is so close I held my breath. He looks down and examines my face, then his eyes lands on my lips. I bite my lip as I feel nervous. His eyes that filled with anger and hurt was now filled with lust and desire. Don't bite your lip, he growls. I stop. I place my hands on chest to push him away, but he growls with pleasure as sparks start to shoot up my arm. I retract them. In a blink, he closes the gap and crashes his lips onto mine. I automatically kiss him back like I've kissed him before. My hands find their way around his neck and his hands grips my hips, pulling me closer. The kiss was rough and passionate. His hands travel to the back of my dress, fidgeting on the zipper. And as if he was splashed with cold water, he pushes himself away. His eyes had turned back to his normal blue-green. He looks at me once more and then walks away, leaving me confused and wanting more. Composing myself, I run to the closest ladies' bathroom and fix myself up. I spray a little bit of perfume to cover my mate's scent. Satisfied, I go back to the party and immediately found Haley with a guy. Hey Haley. I say. Cam. Where have you been? She asks. Oh, Luna practices. I say nonchalantly. Ooh. Cam, meet my mate Kyle Evans. Kyle, this is Camilla, my best friend. She introduces. Nice to meet you, Luna. Camilla. Kyle greets with a friendly smile. Luna. I stutter. Oh. Are you not? Kyle asks, confused, looking between me and Haley. Oh, no. Camilla is Alpha Benedict's sister. She's practicing her Luna lessons. Haley clears up the confusion. Oh. My bad, I'm sorry. Kyle says sheepishly it's okay. I say anyway, Haley, can I talk to you for a sec? I ask sure. Haley says. As she kisses Kyle goodbye, I notice Kyle sniffs the air, and then a smirk appears on his face as he looks at me. Double crap. He found out. As soon as Haley pulls away, I drag her out to the garden. What's the hurry, Cam? She asks, then sniffs the air around me. And why do you smell like another wolf? She asks another question. And as if a light bulb just appeared on top of her head, she gasps. No. She says, you hooked up with a random wolf. She asks, crunching her nose together in fake disgust. Haley. I scold her as Carla growls lowly at the playful accusation. Kidding. You found your mate. She squeals and hugs me. Yeah. Except after our heated make-out. He left without saying anything. I say he what? And there's another thing. What? She asks, invested my mate's the Alpha King. I say slowly. Haley stares at me blankly, and then she squeals and slaps me repeatedly. Oh my goddess. My best friend, oh my goddess. Someone slap me. My best friend is Luna Queen Tiobi. Haley. I hiss at her as I slap a hand on her mouth to silence her. She slaps my hand away and stares at me with a wide grin. What? Wipe that grin off your face. It's creepy. I say as I fake a shudder. You are really stuck with me forever. She says why? Because Kyle is your mate's Delta. She grins. I nod slowly. I told you we'll be okay. Carla says happily. Well, that makes much more sense. I say what does? Haley asks. Kyle found out about the other wolf scent on me. I say Haley giggles. Anyway, as for your mate problem, maybe he got overwhelmed, just give him time. She says yeah. Maybe you're right. I say, he loves you, I just know it. I mean, who makes out with their mate that heated in a party? Haley jokes with a smirk on her face. I slap her arm as Haley laughs. Haley and I go back to the party. Hours later, the party ends and we bid the guests goodbye and thank them for attending. Dad tells me and Ben that the Alpha King and his Beta and Delta are staying for the night and will be leaving tomorrow noon. Sweetie, you know what to do. Mom tells me I nod. I compose myself before I walk towards my mate and his companions. I am an acting Luna. Keep it together. Don't fall apart. I tell myself. I plaster a smile as I near them. I bow and look at them. Hi, I'm Camilla Murphy, Alpha Theo's daughter. I will be assisting you to your rooms for the night. I say, doesn't Luna Rosalie do that? The Beta asks. She does, but she passed the duty to me as she would like me to practice what I have learned in my Luna training. Kyle and the Beta nod. I don't remember if we've met, but I'm Levi Garcia, Beta of Alpha King. He says, nice to meet you. Shall we? I say as I gesture the way to their rooms. They nod. As I lead the way to their rooms, I feel a pair of eyes staring at me and I just know it's my mate. Once we've arrived to the third floor, I stop at the right hallway. I step aside and face them. This hallway is assigned to you. You may choose which room you'd like to stay in. I say, great. Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Levi smiles and goes to choose his room. See you tomorrow, Ms. Murphy. Kyle smirks and goes to choose his room as well. It was now just me and my mate, whom I don't even know the name. His eyes shifts to his dark red and in a swift motion, he pins me on the wall. I gasp as his face moves closer to mine. He dips down to my neck and breathes in my scent. You are driving me crazy and you don't even know it. He huskily says 05 Camilla's POV. My alarm clock rings and I shut it off. I was wide awake all night, replaying what my mate said. You are driving me crazy and you don't even know it. I cover my eyes and roll to my left. I felt giddy and butterflies in my stomach when he uttered those words, so I wasn't able to sleep because of that. With a sigh, I get off my bed and walk to my bathroom. Looking at my reflection, the forming eye bags are clear under my eyes. Great. I sigh. I step into the shower and take a warm one, hoping that it would make me feel sleepy later. Stepping out, I dry myself and walk to my closet. I pick out a denim shorts paired with white shirt. I wear my white Adidas and tie my hair up in a high ponytail. Apply a light amount of makeup and spray a light scent perfume. Satisfied, I leave my room and jog down to the kitchen. I eat the breakfast Mom prepared, then walk to the pack house to start my day with duties that Mom left for me. Morning, Cam. I hear Parker say as I see him jogging towards me from his house. Hey, Park. I greet and hug him sideways when he reached me. Or should I call you Delta Parker now? He's. Stop. Parker says as he giggles like a schoolgirl. I bite my lips to stop myself from laughing. You're so weird. I say, you love me anyway. I crunch my nose up in a fake disgust and he pushes me lightly. Hey. I look to my right and see Haley trudging towards us with her coffee in hand. Hey you. I say, surprised to see her awake this early. I just don't know how you guys can be so loud and happy so early in the morning. Haley grumpily say, it's 9 a.m. Parker trails off. Your point is. Parker chuckles. Why are you awake so early anyway? You usually wake up after 10 a.m. I say, I'm on my way to see my mate. She shrugs. Whoa. You've changed, Haley. Parker jokes, ha ha ha. That's funny, Parker. I giggle as they bicker back and forth. We arrive to the pack house and I suddenly tense up. I can smell him too. Carla purrs. I walk in and greet the pack members and Omegas that greet me a good morning. Baby. A blur of blue pass by and attack Haley in a hug. I turn around and see Kyle kissing Haley all over her face as Haley giggles. A young love. Parker says, shut up, you're not that old. Parker laughs. I turn around and see my mate standing there with his hands in his pockets. He's wearing a simple plain light pink shirt paired with dark gray sweatpants and white sneakers. His outfit looks so simple yet he looks so good. They probably look better on my bedroom floor. Hold up. What the hell, Camilla? Snap out of it. Calming my sudden increasing heart rate, I walk past my mate without a word and go to my brother's office. I knock and he tells me to go in. Benny. My dearest sweet brother. I begin to say, "Okay, what is it? I promise I won't be mad." He says as he drops his pen and looks up at me. I sigh. "I found my mate. Last night." I tell him hesitantly, "What? That's great. How is he? Is he great? Gentleman? Is he nice to you? I swear I'll beat him up if he's a douche." Ben fires questions one after another. "Calm down, Ben. Breathe," I say, and he does. I don't know. Who is he? Is it an alpha or beta or delta? He's an alpha. I trail off. "Oh, that's," he begins to say. "King." I finish, cutting him off. "I'm sorry, what?" "He's the alpha king. My mate's the alpha king." Ben was speechless. "He's dangerous." He breaks the silence. "You can't be serious, tell me you're joking." Ben says, almost begging. "She's not." I freeze when I smell him. I don't dare turn to look at him as I can hear him coming close. "Matteo. Benedict. Matteo. His name is Matteo, Carla." I say, "Man's Matteo. Mason, such attractive names." Carla says dreamily, "You're my sister's mate." Ben asks, "There's something in his eyes that I can't read." "She just said it, didn't she?" He replies, "I sense a really heavy history here." "Maybe you threatened her to say it." "And why would I do that?" "You always have a reason, Matteo." Before anything ugly could happen, I drag Matteo out of the room. Ben growls as Matteo smirks. When the door closes, I unwillingly let go. "Sweetie, where are you?" Mom asks me. "Sorry, be right there." Without another word, I start to leave but stop when I feel sparks against the hand that held my wrists. I turn around and see dark red-eyed Matteo. It's Mason. "Hi, Mason."
Ismile Camilla.
He says huskily. I shiver.
Chome Carla.
He says. I give Carla control and my eyes shifts to golden yellow. "Carla, my beautiful mate." Mason says as he caresses my cheek without a warning. Carla pulls Mason in for a kiss. Mason automatically kisses back and another heated makeout session is on. With all my might, I take back the control and pull away from the kiss. "Sorry, Mason, I have duties to attend to. You'll see us later." I say and run without waiting for a reply. "What the hell, Carla?" "What?" "Mason's a great kisser." I suddenly feel like my wolf's a teenager. Jealous much? I roll my eyes and continue my way to my duties. Time passed by quick. It's suddenly an hour and a half till noon. Lunch is already served and the pack members are filing into the dining hall. "Sweetie, come back home, we're eating lunch here." "Coming." Minutes later, I arrive home and I can smell Matteo. I open the door and walk to the dining area. I see all of them here, including Matteo, Levi, and Kyle, and the only chair available is in between Parker and Matteo. I go and sit at the last available seat and fill my plate. "Thank you for staying in our land, Alpha King. It was an honor. I hope you safely travel back to your pack later." He nods. "Thank you for your hospitality, Alpha Theo." Levi says. After lunch, it's finally time for them to leave. Haley has packed and is going with them back to their pack, while mine hasn't even told me if I'm going with him or not. Carla starts to whimper sadly in my head. Kyle looks to his alpha and then to me, confused as to why I'm not joining them as they get into their car after Haley finished saying her goodbyes. This is it, huh? This is the last time I'm seeing my mate. He's not going to tell me to go with him. He's so confusing. Ben was right. He's cold. Cold, I mean, if you ask me. Fish 06 Camilla's POV, I'll talk to him, okay? Kyle says, giving me his reassuring smile before he climbs into the car. I smile sadly and nod. The car door closes and they drive off. It's been a week since Matteo left without me. I've slowly slipped into depression as my mate isn't close to me, and it felt like a rejection when he left me behind. Most of my time I spent it lying on the bed feeling lonely. There would be occasional unbearable pain and ache in chest for wanting to be close to him, but he isn't here, so I just try bear with it. My parents found out that Matteo is my mate. Ben told them since they were so worried because of the way I was suddenly so sad and quiet. They've been trying to make me feel better, but all I wanted was to be alone or be with my mate. 2 weeks had passed and I was now in heat. Female werewolves go in heat when they are far from their mates, or when they haven't been marked in the first week. Since I'm an alpha's daughter and have alpha blood, my scent is stronger than normal females. Dad made sure my door and windows are shut close before he assigned 2 mated guards outside my door. When a female werewolf is in heat, it lasts a week and the scent only attracts unmated male werewolves that drives them with blinded lust. Fortunately, my scent doesn't affect my brother. Carla has been quiet in my mind too. She hasn't spoken to me since Matteo left. I haven't tried to talk to her anyway since I'm in my own sad state. Hey sis. Ben quietly greets me as he comes into my room. I stay still as I see him coming around the bed and settle in front of me. Here. It's your favorite, Ben says, placing the food on my bedside table together with orange juice and water. You have to eat. Ben says worriedly I'm not hungry. I quietly reply. At least go and take a cool shower, you're sweating and heating up. He says later. Ben sighs. He kisses my forehead and then leaves my room. Minutes later, I get up and walk to my bathroom. I strip and take a cold shower. I sigh as the cold water touches my hot skin. After the shower, I go back to my bed and lay down. Matteo's POV. Matteo, let's go back and bring Camilla here. Mason begs me for the nth time this week. No. I don't need her here. Well, I do. Mason growls Matteo. I snap back to reality and see Levi looking at me worriedly. What? Are you good there? Perfect. The door suddenly slams open and Kyle marches in. I glare at Kyle for his sudden disrespect. You can't just leave her like that, Matt. She's your mate. Kyle yells at me. We've already talked about this, Kyle. I say, glaring at him, I doubt you don't want her here. Deep down, I know you want her to be near you. You haven't been acting like yourself for 3 weeks, Matt. You've been extra sensitive and easily angered. You need her. I don't need her to keep me sane. Now we have more important things to discuss rather than my mate. I growl. Your mate is the important thing to discuss. Kyle. I growl, warning him. When will you warm up, Matt? You even left your own mate in the cold. Kyle says angrily, Kyle. Camilla is our Luna. I don't care what you think. I'm bringing my Luna here where she's supposed to be. You will do no such thing. I shout. Watch me. Kyle shouts back and then storms out of the room. Levi sighs as I stand there fuming. I can't do this. I need to cool down somewhere else. With that thought, I leave my table and go for the door. Matt, where are you going? I hear Levi ask me. I don't say anything and just leave my office. I leave the pack house and shift midway as I ran out of the door. I ran straight to the woods, feeling the cold air through my wolf's fur. I keep running and then stop by the lake. I dip down and drink some water. I huff and flop down on the grass as I watch the sun set. Camilla's POV. I, Matteo the Alpha King, reject you, Camilla Murphy of White Eclipse, as my mate and Luna. My heart shattered as I hear him say those painful words. My chest tightens and it felt like my other half is slowly dying. I cried my heart out as the pain continues eating me up. Please. I cry out to my mate. He looks at me with disgust and turns away, leaving me on the ground in pain. Come back. Please. I beg. I gasp as I was shaken to wake up. My teary eyes land on my brother, who looks at me with worry and pain. Tears keep flowing as my brother pulls me in a comforting hug. Another nightmare? He asks quietly. I nod as I cry. Ben comforts me as I cry myself to sleep. The next morning, my mom came into my room earlier and told me to leave the room and get some sunshine. Hence why I'm slowly getting ready for the day. Cammy. I jerk up from my bed. Carla. I softly call out, yeah. I'm sorry for not being here when you were going through depression. No, it's okay. I'm not the only one who was suffering. I say. Anyway, why don't we stop sulking in here and go out there? Maybe a little sunshine will do us good like Mom said. Carla says. I nod, okay. Feeling a tiny bit better with Carla's presence, I get ready and wear a flowy dress that ends below my knees with white earrings and heels. After applying a light amount of makeup and perfume, I head out of my room and towards my mom's home office. I knock lightly and Mom tells me to go in. Sweetie. Mom calls and goes around her table to come towards me and give me a kiss on the forehead. I'm ready, Mom. Are you sure? I nod. My mom smiles. She goes back to her table and gives me a duty to do. I leave her office and go straight to the clinic. On my way there, I see a black car pass by me, smelling a familiar scent. Shrugging, I continue my way to the clinic. Upon arriving, the staffs greet me and I follow the chief to her office. I sit on her chair as she hands me the reports and records for this month. After 30 minutes of discussing things, I was summoned to go to the pack house and it sounded urgent. I leave the clinic and ran to the pack house to my brother's office. I slam open the door in a hurry as I catch my breath, only to see Kyle turn and grin at me. Kyle. I say, surprised and confused. He bows. It's nice to see you again, Luna. He says, Luna. Delta Kyle is taking you to their pack. Ben informs me C07 Camilla's POV. What? I don't understand. I trail off. I came here to take you to your new pack, Luna. Camilla. Kyle says, but why? Your alpha basically rejected me when he left me here. I quietly say. Carla whimpers in my head. Ben growls lowly at this as Kyle angrily sighs. He's complicated, but deep down I know he would have taken you with him. He's not himself lately, and I'm assuming you aren't as well. I slightly nod. I'm positive Mason would love for you to be there. Kyle says, smirking. My cheeks heat up and I look away when he said this. He chuckles. Come with me, Luna. You might not be officially the Luna of my pack, but you are destined to be when you're mated to my alpha. Kyle says. I look to Ben and he gives me a nod. Are you okay with this, Benny? I ask. I only ever call my brother Benny when I don't know how to tell him something without him getting mad at me, and when I need his assurance that he'll be okay with any decision that I need to make. And as an assured answer, he calls me Millie. Ben smiles and nod. He comes to me and envelopes me in a tight, comforting hug. I'm okay with it, Millie. It's better if you're close to your mate rather than staying here and crying in pain. Ben says and then kisses the top of my head. I smile, thanking the moon goddess for my brother despite him being overly protective of me. You better make sure my sister doesn't suffer any more pain in your pack, got it? Ben sternly tells Kyle, who grins and salutes my brother. I'll take care of your sister, Alpha Benedict. I'll even be her personal guard. Kyle says as he flashes his grin at me. I giggle. Alright, go on then. I've already told Mom and Dad about this. They'll probably be at the door waiting for you. Your things are also packed and placed at his trunk. Ben says, my mouth hang open, shocked. When did this happen? After Kyle came and talked to me. I nod. Ben comes with us as we leave his office. We reach the front door of the pack house and my parents are waiting. My mom spots me and comes to me. She hugs me and I hug back. I'll miss you, Mom. I'll make you proud. I say, oh sweetie, you've already made me proud. I know you'll be a great Luna queen. Mom says as she smiles at me. My dad comes and hugs me tight. Do great things, my dear. Tell me if your mate is treating you bad and I'll come and beat his ass for you. I don't care if he's the Alpha King. He is werewolf first before his title. Dad says, making me giggle. I'll take note of that, Dad. I say I hug my brother one last time and then let go. We leave the pack house and Kyle opens the door for me. I smile gratefully. I turn back around and smile at my family and my pack members who are present. Parker is here too, looking at me proudly. I'll make you proud, White Eclipse. I shout and they all cheer and clap as my family smile at me. I slide into the car and Kyle drives off. Since Kyle's pack is the closest pack to mine, it took 3 hours to arrive. Once there, pack members stare and talk amongst themselves as we pass by, assuming that they can smell my scent and feel my aura. We're here. Kyle says excitedly as the car comes to a stop in front of a grand mansion with guards lined up by the base of the stairs. I'll be living here. I exclaim, looking out in awe. Yup. The Alpha, Beta, and Delta do with their families. Kyle tells me. I get out of the car and the first thing I hear is a squeal. I turn and was attacked by my best friend. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Haley squeals. Haley. Haley pulls away and grins at me. You'll love it here. She says. I smile. Your bags will be placed in your room across Matteo's room. Kyle tells me, wait, what? My room is across from Matteo's. Yup. Before I could utter another word, a deep angry growl was heard. I look up and see my angry mate coming down the stairs with Levi behind him. Kyle. He growls. Oh, hello, Alpha. He says, why did you bring her here? I thought I already told you. I brought her here because this is her pack as well. She belongs here and you can't do anything but accept the fate that Moon Goddess has planned. Kyle says, his cold, angry eyes shifts to me and then he stalks away. I let out a breath that I didn't know I was holding. Come on, we'll show you to your room. Haley says. I nod. We walk into the mansion and I was in awe again. The interior looks more classy and royal than the exterior. There's a big living area with a fireplace, a big kitchen with marble countertops, and a dining area with dining chairs in the long dining table. We climb up to the 4th floor where the Alpha and his family stay in. Haley and Kyle show me to my room, which is on the left side of the hallway. We walk in and oh my goddess. Whoa. I say as I scan the room. I know red is your favorite color, so when Kyle told me he's bringing you here, I just had to give my input. Haley says excitedly the room is so beautiful. I say I'm glad it's to your liking. Anywho, we'll let you settle in. Kyle says. They leave and I began unpacking my clothes after looking around the room. A few minutes later I hear the door open. Haley. I call out as I walk out of the walk-in closet. I stop at my tracks when I see a girl a few years older than me. Her eyes lands on me and a grin appears on her face. You are real. She squeals I'm sorry. I say how rude of me. I'm Gina, Matteo's sister. She introduces. My eyes widen in surprise. As I open my mouth to introduce myself, she holds her hand up. No need to introduce yourself, I know who you are. She smiles you do. Of course. You're my brother's mate. She says happily oh. How did you know? I overheard Kyle talking about bringing my brother's mate here cause apparently, that idiot didn't bring her here when he found out. So I bugged Kyle to tell me. She says my mouth forms an O as I nod. Anyway, I just came by to see if what Kyle said was real. Kyle is known to prank and play around despite being my brother's Delta. I chuckle lightly. It was nice meeting you. I'll see you later at dinner. She says dinner. Yeah, my parents found out too. I kinda told them. Gina says sheepishly. Sensing my panic, Gina rushes over to me. It's okay, you'll be okay. My mom already likes you from what Haley told us, but my dad doesn't know you that much yet. She tells me letting out a sigh I nod. What should I wear? I asked 08 Camilla's POV. Gina stayed with me and helped me get ready for the dinner with their parents. She told me about how the Matteo I met wasn't usually like that. She said something happened before and that's why he acts how he is today. Gina and I also got to know each other. I learned that she is 2 years older than me. Found her mate the moment she turned 18 years old. She is also a friendly and a cheerful person. Do you think your brother hates me? I ask her as she curls my hair. No. He just chose to not trust anyone new anymore. He is also very stubborn. He doesn't trust me. I ask sadly. Gina sighs. My brother went through a lot mentally. Just give it time, he'll warm up to you. I nod as I sigh. After putting on the dress Gina lent me, I was ready. I look at myself on the mirror and smile. I look so pretty and almost like a princess. Gina fixed me up nice. After Gina finished getting ready, we both head to the dining area. I let out a nervous sigh and convince myself I'll be okay, and the dinner will go through smoothly. We both enter the dining area and I see an older male version of Gina sitting at the head chair, and to his left is an older female version of Matteo. Upon seeing us, the lady's face lit up and came rushing to us. Oh dear, look at you. Aren't you a beauty? She gushes as she examines me. Excuse my mother. She's just really excited to meet you. Gina tells me, then faces her mother. She lightly scolds her mother, laughs heartily. I apologize. It's finally nice to meet you, dear. You can call me Caitlin. She smiles at me. Nice to meet you too. I say and return the smile.
Come, sit.
She says. Gina goes to sit beside her mother while I sit across from Gina, leaving a space on my right for Matteo. Camilla, this is my husband, Lance. Honey, this is Camilla, Matteo's real mate. Caitlin introduces. Confusion filled my head when Caitlin introduced me as Matteo's real mate, and I looked to the head chair to see Matteo's dad observing me. I push the confusion away and politely greet him with a bow, and then finally he breaks into a smile. Nice to meet you, Camilla. He smiles welcomingly. I smile and nod. Where is Matteo? Oh, you know your brother, always late to dinners like this. Caitlin sighs. She shakes her head, then turns to me with a smile. So, Camilla, who are your parents and what do they do? Caitlin asks me. My parents were the former Alpha and Luna, Alpha Theo and Luna Rosalie, your majesty. I reply. Caitlin's eyes brighten up and looks to her husband, who smiles. Ooh, my son got himself a pure alpha blood. Not to mention your parents are our longtime friends. Caitlin happily say. I tilt my head sideways in confusion. Yes, dear, your parents were our longtime friends before you were born. We stopped talking when your brother and our Matteo were growing up. We just got too busy with parenthood and running our own packs. Caitlin tells me, suddenly feeling down. I miss Rosie so much. Caitlin says sadly as she looks to her husband, who holds her hand in comfort. Well, maybe this time you can reconnect. I say when Caitlin looks to me. I continue. Since you both and my parents have retired, you have more time now to catch up and all like old times. Caitlin smiles and looks to her husband with a hopeful glint in her eyes. I don't see why that can happen. Lance says. Caitlin squeals and jumps out of her seat to embrace her mate. I can't wait to reconnect with my Rosie, Caitlin says happily as Gina and I smile. Mom. I tense up and my smile was now long gone when I heard his voice. I hear his footsteps getting louder as he comes closer. And then he stops. No doubt seeing me present in the room. I slightly turn and see him standing by the doorframe. Oh, Matteo, sweetie. What took you so long to come? Caitlin asks as Lance notified the staff to bring out the food. My piled up paperwork. He simply answered, well, why are you still standing there? Come sit, Caitlin says, pointing to the chair beside me. I hear his hesitant steps, then he walks and sits beside me. Caitlin looks at us and grins. Ah, don't you two look cute together? She gushes. Matteo clears his throat as I look the other way. A few seconds later, the staff came out with dishes of food. They placed it on the table and then goes back into the kitchen. Dinner was slightly uncomfortable. Matteo ignored my presence throughout the dinner, which made Carla whimper in sadness. Caitlin notices this, so as a bubbly and friendly person she is, she and I talked while we ate dinner. Gina and Lance would occasionally join in the conversation or laugh along. After dinner, Caitlin and Gina gave me a mansion tour. Then we walked slowly as we enjoy the cold night air, and how the garden looked at night. I came to learn that both Caitlin and Gina liked the cold air during the night as well. The three of us got along well, which Carla and I were happy about. After the walk, we separate ways and returned to our own rooms. I close my door and get ready for bed. I walk to my walk-in closet and pick out a matching tank top and shorts. I take a quick shower, then wear my night clothes and brush my teeth. As I close my bathroom door, my bedroom door opens. I turn to the door in alarm. Carla immediately took full control and stood still. Matteo walks in and surveys the room before he turned to look at me. His cold stare made me want to shiver. Carla goes back and gave me back my control. Matteo, he pushes me to wall behind me and pins me there. He growls lowly at me as his blue-green eyes stares at me coldly. What do you think you're doing? He asks me. I'm sorry. How dare you be buddy-buddy with my family? He growls. Shouldn't I be? I am your mate. I say, of course you are. He says harshly. I looked at him confused. I am. I trail off. He growls and tighten his hold on me. I wince. Matteo, you're hurting me. I whimper. Listen, Camilla, stay away from my family and my pack. Tell your witch friend to quit it because I'm not falling for it. Go back to whoever you are working with against me before I kill you. He threatens. I was now shaking. What is he talking about? What witch friend is he referring to? Does he honestly think I'm not his mate? With one last look, he lets go and storms out of my room, leaving me hurt, confused, and curious as to who the witch friend and the rebel he's talking about. Sage 09 Matteo's POV. Listen, Camilla, stay away from my family and my pack. Tell your witch friend to quit it because I'm not falling for it. Go back to whoever you are working with against me before I kill you. I threaten. Camilla looks at me confused and hurt. With one last glare, I let her go and storm out of there. I slam my door shut once I reach my room. I was enraged. How dare she act like she's my mate? I know the mate bond is there, but that is part of the magical trick. Matt, she really is our mate. Why don't you believe me? Mason asks. Because we've fallen for her magical trick before, and I am not letting that happen again. But Jess and Onyx died, remember? Mason reminds me. I growl, remembering the two ladies who tried to trick me into making Jess the Luna Queen. And Onyx said revenge would soon come to me, remember? I call her bluff. Camilla is our real mate. Mason convinces me we'll see about that. Camilla's POV. It has been a week since that incident with Matteo in my room, and I've been avoiding him like the plague. In the morning I hang out with Gina, Haley, and Kyle. In the evening I'm digging and trying to find out who this witch friend and rebel Matteo accused me of. So far I found nothing. I've tried asking Gina and Kyle, but they either won't tell me or chose to ignore my question. It is now 5 p.m., and I decided to walk around the mansion to familiarize myself more. After a tiring walk, I return to my room to shower and change for dinner. Satisfied with my outfit, I leave my room and notice Matteo's bedroom door is open. I peep inside and see a black and gold themed room. I involuntarily walk in and look around. My senses were overwhelmed with his scent from his room that I didn't realize he was behind me, observing. What are you doing here? He growls lowly. I swiftly turned to look at him. I was suddenly scared and nervous. He stalked towards me as I stepped back. I said, "What are you doing here?" My leg hits the base of the chair and I fall onto it. "I'm sorry. I was just looking around. Does my room look like an area that you can just freely go in and look around?" He asks me harshly. I get off of the chair and back away some more. He was coming too close and I'm too scared of what might happen. Matteo hasn't exactly showed his acceptance towards me ever since we met, but Mason, however, was eager to mark and mate with me. Suddenly, he pushes me and pins me onto his bed as he gets on top of me. I gasp at how close we are. What is he doing? His eyes flashes red, and as fast as his eyes shifted color, he crashes his lips onto mine and I kiss back automatically. His hand pins my wrists together above my head as the other travels down to my waist. He firmly grips my waist as he deepens the kiss, but just like back at my brother's ceremony party, he breaks the kiss and gets off. I sit up confused. "Leave," he says. His eyes has shifted back to his normal blue-green. When I didn't move, he glares up at me and growls. I said, "Leave." Frightened, I stand up and leave his room as quickly as I could. He slams his door shut as I wince at how loud he closed his door. Carla grumbles in my mind at how confusing he is. Shaking off what just happened, I leave the hallway and walk down to the dining area. "Good evening, dear." Caitlin greets me. "Good evening, Caitlin." I smile. Over the week, Caitlin and I bonded like mother and daughter. Now I understand why Caitlin and Mom were best friends. They're both almost too similar. "Lance isn't eating?" I ask. Caitlin shakes her head. "He's busy helping Matteo with pack-related things." I nod. Gina soon came in and the three of us started eating dinner. After dinner, Gina went to spend time with her mate while Caitlin and I link our arms and walk around the garden. It's been a routine for us after every dinner. "Hey, Caitlin," she hums in response. "Who are Jess and Onyx?" I ask her. Caitlin turns to look at me. "Why do you ask?" "Well, Matteo accused me of working with a witch and someone else. He said I'm just posing as his mate," I say, whimpering at the end. Caitlin was silent, probably debating whether or not to tell me. After a while, she guides me to the bench and we sit down as she turns to me. "Jess was part of our pack before. She was a quiet she-wolf, always minding her own business and never getting into trouble. She also had a huge obsession on Matteo." I growled lowly as I hear what Caitlin said. She chuckles lightly and pats my hand to calm me down. She continues. 1. Onyx was a greedy witch who was always near our border. She would occasionally stop and watch our pack without trespassing. Jess and Onyx were friends. I don't know how they met, but they were. Onyx knew Matteo hadn't met his mate yet, and also knew how much Jess liked Matteo. Onyx was after power, and since she knew Jess's obsession, she thought to kill two birds with one stone. She casted a spell on Jess and it completely changed her whole personality overnight. She became obnoxious, flirty, and desperate. That spell was to make Matteo feel the mate bond with Jess and make her the Luna Queen. Both Matteo and Mason fell for it. We were suspicious of Jess because it was weird how all of the sudden she's Matteo's mate. We tried to warn and tell Matteo that something wasn't right, but he wouldn't listen. He was too busy trying to strengthen the pack and was under the spell. He'd always get angry and say how we're just saying that because we didn't want him to be happy. When Matteo found out, it was too late. Jess had let Onyx, her companions, and rogues enter the land and war broke out. Your father came to fight with us when he heard. I'm sure you know about the war 5 years ago. When we won, he ordered a death sentence to Jess and Onyx for tricking him and distorting the moon goddess destined mate for him. Onyx's last words were like a curse. She said that revenge would soon find its way to him. Our next episode is going to have an even bigger twist. Subscribe to our channel and don't miss a moment. Camilla and Matteo's relationship finally seems to be on the mend, but when Camilla discovers the traces of a mysterious figure during her morning run, can she unravel the conspiracy lurking in the shadows? Matteo's trust issues seem to be easing, but is this all just the calm before the storm? Follow in Camilla's footsteps and embark on an unknown journey together. Subscribe to start the adventure. 10. Camilla's POV. My head was spinning with the information that Caitlin revealed to me. It made Carla and I furious at what Jess and Onyx did. She tried to take our mate away from us for her own greed. Carla also couldn't help but feel possessive and protective over Matteo and Mason. Why did you choose to tell me? I asked Caitlin. She softly smiles and gives my hand a squeeze. Because I know you could be the person who can fight alongside Matteo and also fight for his love. I know that you are his real mate. My wolf feels it too. I just know that you will do anything in your power to help my Matteo. I smile at Caitlin as my eyes started to water. She hugs me in a motherly way and whispers, "Please help get our old Matteo back." Matteo's POV. I watch as my mother smile and give Camilla a motherly hug. Mason howls in happiness while I just simply glare at the sight. How could my mother trust Camilla? I huff and turn to go back to my office. Camilla had everyone wrapped around her finger, but I won't fall for it. I am not going to let that happen again. Camilla isn't my mate, she can't be. The mate bond is a trick, this is all a trick. I won't allow history to repeat itself. Camilla's POV. The next morning, I wake up before sunrise and change into a sports bra and matching shorts. I wear my running shoes and bring out my undergarments and robe and throw them in a bag. I tie my hair in a high ponytail as I leave my room and down the stairs to go out. I place my bag beside the tree and start running around the pack. It's a chill morning today, which I love. And I just know winter is coming very soon. I push myself and run faster as I hop over a rock. I shift and land on all fours. Carla growls happily as she runs deeper into the woods. The chill morning air runs through her fur. She comes to a stop and shakes her fur as she feels that we're near the border. As she turns around, she hears a branch snap behind her. She quickly turns around and growls, getting into her fighting position. A man comes out of the bush and grins evilly at us. Carla growls loudly as the man comes nearer, stopping just a foot away from the border. My, who do we have here? The man says, you are the Luna Queen, aren't you? He asks, no, pardon me, you aren't announced as one yet. He finishes, grinning. Carla snarls at him and he laughs. You're a feisty one. I love it. Well, your majesty, why don't you be my mate instead? I could treat you so much better than that mutt. Why not be my Luna Queen after I take that mutt's crown? He grins maniacally. Carla growls louder while I grimace and shudder in disgust. Carla and I are furious and disgusted at what he just said. How dare he plan to take Matteo's title and make me his Luna Queen? As Carla was about to charge at the man, I tell her to control her anger. Carla howls loudly and then goes back to giving the man a death glare. His eyes held amusement, he backs away and chuckles. I'll see you soon, my queen. He disappears just as we hear feet running towards us. Carla was still glaring at where the man disappeared to. She didn't realize our mate was now behind us with Kyle and a few guards. Carla, Matteo's here. I tell her. She huffs, turns around and sees Matteo staring at her. She goes to him and uses her snout to push Matteo to the way where our bag is. She wants me to tell Matteo what just happened. What are you doing, Wolf? He asks, pulling his hand away from Carla's snout. Carla huffs and sits down. Alpha, I think she wants you to follow her. Kyle says. Matteo stares for a while and then turns around. You follow her, Kyle. I have no time for this. He says and then leaves. Carla whimpers as Kyle comes and pets our head. He'll warm up, Camilla. Kyle says as we watch Matteo walk away with the guards. Carla starts to walk and Kyle follows us. She goes behind the tree once we've arrived and shift back. I wear my undergarments and wrap my robe around me. I step out and walk towards Kyle. I need to tell you something. I tell him. Kyle nods. But not here, follow me. I lead Kyle to my room. I close my curtains then lead him to my walk-in closet, where there are no windows. What do you need to tell me that you closed your curtains and made me follow you to your closet? Do you believe and trust that I am the real mate of Matteo? I ask. Yes, of course. I nod. What I'm about to tell you needs your full attention. I say, quit stalling, Cam. What is it? I tell him my encounter with the man and also describe what he looked like. Kyle's face hardened as I tell him. When I finish, he was fuming. I will tell the Alpha what you just told me. For the meantime, please refrain from running near the border. We don't want anything happening to you, Luna. He says. I nod and sigh. My hand starts to fidget at my sleeve. Do you think Matteo will believe what I just told you? I ask. I don't know, but hopefully, he'll take it into consideration that what you just told me is real. Kyle holds my hand and gives it a comforting squeeze. He'll come around, Cam. Just hold on. He says as he softly smiles at me. Thanks, I hope so. I say. Kyle nods and leaves. I grab my outfit for the day and lay them out, then I walk to my bathroom for a shower. Kyle's POV. Zach, search around the west side border for any suspicious and unfamiliar scent. I mind-link our West Head guard as I walk to Matteo's office. Yes, Delta Kyle, we're on it. He replies. I knock on Matteo's door and opens it when he gives me permission to go in. Alpha. I greet as I bow. What is it? I go nearer and then I tell him what Camilla told me. H11. Matteo's POV. I scoff at what Kyle had just told me while Mason's growling in my head. Do you really believe what she's telling you? For all we know, it's a trick. I say, crossing my arms. Kyle frowns. Of course I do, Alpha. My wolf can sense that she is our true Luna. I roll my eyes. Before I could say another word, there's a knock on the door. Come in. I say. Zach bows and then proceeds to come forward. I have some news, Delta Kyle. Zach starts report. Kyle says. Zach nods. Positive, Delta. There was a remaining scent of an unknown wolf, rogue to be specific. Kyle turns to me with a knowing look and an eyebrow raised. I mentally rolled my eyes. But the scent disappeared when we tried to trace where it went after crossing the West Lake. It was a dead end. Mason and I growl, but for different reasons. How dare someone try to trespass my land? They must have a dead wish. Tighten the security around our land. Nobody is stepping into this land without my permission. Again. I growl. Camilla's POV. After the morning I had, I followed Kyle's warnings and stayed away from the border. It also has been 3 days since it happened. Walking around the garden, a smile appears on my face as I smell the fragrant flowers. Don't tell me you're going to spend the rest of your day smelling flowers. What's so wrong with that? I reply. Gina chuckles. Come on, let's go shopping. I'm in need of new clothes. She says pass. Ask someone else. I say, moving on to another flower. You know you have a great figure. And you're not putting it to good use. Excuse me. I say, facing Gina with a frown. All you wear are basic clothing pieces. Change it up a bit. Dress up sexily and catch my brother's eye. Gina says, winking at the end and making me heat up. I clear my throat. No thank you. I'm perfectly comfortable and fine with what I already have. Well, I'm not fine with it. Now come on. Gina says, grabbing my wrists and pulling me along. I playfully scream for help. Pack members would turn to look and chuckle. It's hard to imagine you're going to be our Luna Queen with the way you're currently acting. Gina grumbles. You're the one who's kidnapping me, Beta. I shot back. Gina raises her eyebrow. I finally gave in and hop into the car with Gina in the driver's seat. Hours later, we arrive at the mall. With a few guards following us, Gina and I go into multiple stores looking and buying what we ended up liking. Gina have chosen a few sexy pieces for me to wear without even me knowing what it looks like. By 6 p.m., we've shopped and dropped onto the seats in a CAF. Gina takes a sip of her drink while I take a bite of my pastry. So wasn't today fun? It's tiring. I deadpan. Gina giggles. After a few exchange of words, we get up and head towards the exit and to the car. We load the car with our shopping bags and drive our way home. Arriving back home, Gina and I climb up to our floor in separate ways to our own rooms. I freshen up and wrap myself in my bathrobe. I start getting ready to go out. While we were at the CAF, Gina told me we shopped for one reason only, and it's to go to the club. She thought I've stayed at home way too long, so she wanted me to go out for a change. Finishing with a few sprays of perfume, I step back and look at myself in the mirror. I'm wearing a gold mini dress with beige heels, my makeup matching my dress. What did I tell you? I turn and see Gina by the door, wearing a red mini dress and heels. I told you you'd look hot, she exclaims, coming towards me, maybe even hot enough to finally drive Matteo crazy. Gina teases my face burn up at the comment. Shut up, Gina. Gina laughs. Come on, let's go party. Gina hollers. I shake my head at her silliness. Grabbing my purse, we head out of my room. We climb into the back seat of the car with two of Gina's trusted guards in front. We drive to the Gina's Go-To Club and soon we've arrived. We walk in and immediately, I feel my body pulse and the floor shake together with the loud music. We start at the bar with starter drinks. 2 cocktails, please, Gina says. We drink till we felt loose and wild. Gina and I scream excitedly and join the dance floor, dancing amongst ourselves, swatting away any males that grinds against us. By the time it was 3 a.m., we were dead drunk and couldn't stand straight. The guards sense this, and before we know it, we're back home. Gina and I stumble up to our floor in separate ways. I hold onto the wall as I try to walk to my room. I groan as I feel a headache forming. Suddenly I smell him. I make no effort in looking up as I hear him growl angrily. No doubt probably angry at my choice of clothing or that I'm dead drunk and just came home at an unreasonable hour. And where have you been? He asks. My mouth opens to speak but only slurred words leave my mouth. What? He asks, losing patience. I groan. I try to push past him but ended up falling. He catches me before my knees could touch the floor. Carrying me bridal style, I sling my arms around his neck and snuggled close while I hear him sniff then growl some more. Did I just smell a male wolf on you? He asks, disgusted and angry. I hummed in reply before finally losing consciousness, slipping into a deep sleep. Age 12. Camilla's POV. The next morning, I wake up with a pounding head and a very dry throat. I groan as I roll to my right to avoid the glaring sunlight that passed through my curtains. Why did I drink so much? I say groggily. I slowly get up groaning. I notice I'm still in my outfit from last night. I look to my left and see a glass of water and some painkillers to help with the headache. It was also 12 p.m. After taking the pills, I slowly walk to my bathroom and get ready. I wear my matching sweats and a sunglass. I put up my hood and walk out of my room slowly to go to the kitchen. Once arrived, I see Gina on her seat, resting her head on the table. Gina. I greet softly. Mills. She replies back in the same manner. Hello. Someone greets. Gina and I groan in sync as we try to sink deeper into our chair. What's gotten into you two? I look up and see it's Haley. I motion for her to keep quiet and then hide my face from the bright room. They're in a hangover. How do you know? Haley asks because I carried her to bed. I slowly look up and see Matteo staring intensely at me. That reminds me we have to talk, he says. I nod, not wanting to speak or argue with him at the moment, and then he came to sit beside me. Here we are, Caitlin says as she came out of the kitchen with 2 bowls. She placed one in front of her daughter and one in front of me. Drink up. It'll help, she says as more food was being brought out after lunch. I felt a little bit better. Caitlin's hangover soup helped a lot. I follow Matteo to his office since he said we have to talk about something. I close the door as I was the last to go in. He faces me with anger. Where did you go last night? Club. I simply answer as I scan his office. I look back at him and his eyes have darkened. Wearing a revealing outfit. Are you trying to get another male's attention? He asks, his voice raising. Hold on a minute. Why is he the one being upset? Shouldn't I be the one who should be upset right now? Ever since we met, he had already been giving me mixed signals. Then he left me when he found out we're mates, and when I was brought here, he ignored my presence. My blood began to boil. He doesn't have the right to play possessive mate right now. And why did I smell a male on you? I scoff. He was taken aback and then he glared at me. Did you just scoff at me? I look up at him lazily. Yeah, so what? So what? He asks, getting angrier. Why? Are you jealous? Mad. I'm sorry, I didn't know I should have told you where I was going. I didn't feel the need to since you treat me as if I wasn't here. I say with arms crossed. He walks to me dangerously slow. I'm not jealous. Why would I be when you're not even my mate, poser? He sneers. That hurt a lot. Is he really still on that? Believing and telling himself that I'm just faking it. I'm getting sick of it. My eyes flash hurt. As soon as it came, it's gone. You still believe I'm not your mate? Why? Do you think I'm just here after the position of Luna Queen? Do you think I have a witch friend helping me? Do you really think Jess and I are alike? I ask, my voice getting louder. His eyes glare at me at the mention of the she-wolf's name. Looking at his angry eyes, I thought of closing the distance between us and keeping my eyes on his, telling him and reassuring him that I am his destined mate from the moon goddess. Touching him so that he'll feel the sparks and how I have the ability to calm him down. Kissing him so that he'll feel our mate bond getting stronger. But how would that be effective enough to change his mind about me? Gina had told me he went through a lot mentally and has trust issues. Doing these would just make him believe I am just like Jess. Instead, I sigh. I may not know how much you suffered before for you to look at me, your true mate, with so much anger and hatred, but I will bring the old Matteo back. I will fight your fears to make you see I am your true mate, Matteo. I hope I could gain your trust before it'll be too late. I say. I sadly smile and turn to leave. I close the door behind me as I leave his office. Letting out a long sigh, Carla tells me I did good and that will be okay. For the rest of the afternoon I spent it with Haley. We find a lake behind the pack house so we sit and watch as Kyle trains his warriors intensely. He's so dreamy and hot when he's in his Delta mode. Haley says dreamily. I chuckle. I envy how fast it was for Kyle and Haley. When they met, they immediately accepted each other, marked and mated, and now so in love like an old married couple. Every female wolf's dream was like that, but I guess sometimes it isn't always what you dreamed it would be. After their training, Haley and I went to greet Kyle. We walked back to the mansion together for dinner. Dinner passed by in a blur. I was now walking around the garden with Caitlin. How are you, dear? She asks. Good. I answer, are you and Matteo okay? She asks worriedly. I smile sadly. We will be. Caitlin sighs as she wraps her arm around me in comfort. After the walk, we climb up to our floor in separate ways. I close my door and go to the bathroom to get ready for bed. After I'm all ready and changed into my nightgown, I smell him. I walk out and see him on my bed. Matteo. I trail off. His red eyes looks at me and they darken when he sees what I'm wearing. He stands up and with 4 long strides towards me. He's in front of me. Mason. I was cut off as Mason gently cups my cheeks and kisses me. I was shocked and confused. I gently push him away and he looks at me. Mason, as much as I love that you accept us, please stop taking over control when it comes to me. I know you ache to be with me, but Matteo and I have issues to fix. I gently tell him. Mason smiles. He kisses my forehead and then reluctantly lets go. You are our perfect mate. I thank the moon goddess she paired us with you. I'll abide to your request, my love, he says. He leaves my room and closes the door gently. Carla gushes at how gentle and loving Mason is, and I giggle at how Carla is acting and climb into bed. 13 Camilla's POV. It's been 2 weeks now since that night when I told Mason to stop taking control. He has been a good wolf, respecting what I requested. That also means it had been a while since I've seen Matteo. In the morning, I'd smell him in the hallway and it fades as he leaves to do his duty, and late at night, I'd hear him come back and shut his door. Carla had been whining non-stop, telling me to go see Matteo. It's finally nighttime and I'm all dressed and ready for bed when I hear Matteo coming back from his work. I hurriedly go for the door and leave my room. As Matteo is about to shut his door, I held onto it and slide my foot in between the door and its frame. Matteo opens his door wide and sees me. He narrows his eyes and crosses his arms. What do you want? He asks. Can we talk? We don't have anything to talk about. Exactly, we're mates. We met a month ago and we're still acting like we're strangers. He raises his eyebrow at me. You, my mate. He scoffs. How many times do I have to tell you? You're not my mate. You may have Mason and everyone else fooled, but you can't fool me. My heart breaks a little as Carla whimpers. What makes you so sure that I'm not your mate? Do you honestly not want me in your life? I ask, my voice cracking at the end. Matteo scoffs. Great acting. You should be an actress. It felt like a knife stabbed me in the chest. Instead of feeling hurt and sad, I glare at him. I step into his room and stop when we're chest to chest. I look up at him. I'm sick of you always denying me. I'm so sick of it all. I say. Then I'd be glad if you leave me and my pack. He says harshly. I scoff. You listen to me. I am your mate and I will show you that it's true. If you still don't believe me even after everything I've tried, then you'll leave me no choice but to reject you so that I'll at least live in peace and maybe meet a second chance, who would actually notice me and love me. Matteo growls, his eyes shifting from his normal blue-green to red. Mason's angry, no doubt because of what I said. Calm your wolf, heart. I say, and with that, I leave his room and shut my door behind me. Matteo's POV. You listen to me. I am your mate and I will show you that it's true. If you still don't believe me even after everything I've tried, then you'll leave me no choice but to reject you so that I'll at least live in peace and maybe meet a second chance, who would actually notice me and love me. Camilla says something in me snap and I let out a growl. It didn't help that Mason was also angry and wanted to take over. What did I tell you? Mason growls. I keep telling you she's our mate. But no, you didn't want to believe me. Mason reprimands me. Let me take over. I am not letting her out of my sight. Mason growls once more. Calm your wolf, heart. Camilla says. She leaves my room and suddenly all I feel was the cold air in my room. Was my room always this cold? Mason retreats to the back of my mind and blocks our connection. I flop down my bed and lie down. What's going on? Why do I suddenly feel cold after she left? And I growled. Was I really upset over what she said? She can't be my mate. Right. I sigh. I rub my face and stand back up to get ready for bed. The next morning I wake up before the sun rise. I get ready for the day and head out of my room. My eyes land on Camilla's door. My heightened hearing sense tells me Camilla's still sleeping. Her light snores and slow breathing are heard. My mind then wanders to the thought of how angelic and peaceful she would look while sleeping. How we would fit like puzzle pieces when we cuddle in bed. How it'd feel right when we hold hands and she'd smile warmly at me after a tough day. My eyes widen at what I just realized. Did I just daydreamed about Camilla and I thought to myself that never happened before with Jess. With Jess, it just felt like she was a part of me that made me whole. Jess never made me feel and think like this. What's going on? That, my dear human, is the effect of the mate bond. The real mate bond effect. You never felt that way with Jess because she wasn't your real mate, and it was the magic that made you believe you were. Mason says, in my mind, when did you find out it was real? After we left her behind, we were not ourselves for weeks. I remember. I sigh. Before I could converse more with my wolf, a voice brought me back to reality. I look to my right and see Levi and Kyle looking me with concern. What? Are you okay? You spaced out for a long time. Levi says. I clear my throat and nod as I try my best to stay cool. Like I wasn't just thinking about Camilla and I. Kyle smirks and slings an arm around Levi. Lev, he's totally fine. He's perfect. He smirks. What do you mean? Levi asks, confused. He's been standing there spacing out because he's daydreaming about a certain someone. He says, wiggling his eyebrows at me. I was not daydreaming. I was talking to Mason. I say, then leave Levi and Kyle follow right behind me. Sweetie you are. Kyle teases some more as Levi chuckles. I sigh and mentally facepalm. This is going to be a long day. Page 14 Camilla's POV. I wake up feeling cranky. I groan as I turn to my left to avoid the sun shining into my room. My door suddenly burst open and I was squished by a hyper she-wolf. I groan and push her off. It's too early for this. I groggily say, early. It's 12 p.m. Luna. My eyes snap open. What did you just call me? Luna. I suddenly feel panic and nervous. Sensing my nervousness, she giggles. I'm just kidding. You're fine, but Mom's asking where you are. She's worried 'cause she hasn't seen you this morning. Letting out a relieved sigh, I sit up and slap Gina's arm. Don't do that again. I say, playfully glaring at her. I quickly get off the bed and walk to my bathroom to get ready. After I freshen up, I change my clothes into a white tank top and black shorts, paired with a black denim jacket and my Vans. I leave my bathroom and go to make my bed. Gina and I leave my room and go down to the dining area. Upon arriving, I see Caitlin letting out a relieved smile. Lunch went by smoothly as always. I was now on my own since Gina went to see her mate, which I have yet to meet, and Caitlin went to check on the PAX clinic. I stroll around the Packlands and observe everything, careful not to go anywhere near the borders. I've passed by the PAX daycare center, playground, houses, cottages, and clinic. Now I've reached the training grounds where Levi and Kyle are training the guards and soldiers. I look to the right and see Gina, watching adoringly at someone. I go closer. Which one is yours? I ask and she jumps. Geez, Mills. You scared the hell out of me, she says, calming her heart. I chuckle as I sit down next to her. So, Gina smiles and points to Levi. He's mine, she says proudly. Levi. I never would have guessed. I chuckle. After a while of watching and talking to Gina, I suddenly didn't feel too good. My head was dizzy, skin was hot, and I felt weak. Crap, I'm in another heat. Gina's POV. Camilla was suddenly silent, too silent. Right after I noticed her silence, a strong smell of flowers and chocolate was present. I look to my left and see Camilla holding her head. Her skin was visibly becoming red. Crap. I say under my breath. I look around and see the unmated males looking at Camilla with lust. I have to get her out of here. Sensing the danger, Levi and Kyle command the mated guards and soldiers to hold the unmated ones back. They come running to us. Levi picks Camilla up bridal style. Sora, my wolf, growls lowly at how Levi is touching another she-wolf. I scold my wolf as it's not the time to be jealous and possessive since we both know Levi loves us and Camilla has her own. Matt, come back to the mansion quick. It's an emergency. I linked my brother as we ran to the mansion. Once arrived, we climb up to Camilla's room and Levi places her down gently on her bed. I take off her jacket to at least have her feel a little bit of cool air. Within minutes, Matteo is back at the mansion. Where are you? Camilla's room. Within seconds, he's inside the room. His eyes land on Camilla's heated state, shifting from his normal eyes to black repeatedly. She's in heat. I don't know how she could still go in heat when she's already near you. Only you could help her, Matt. Hal says how. Matteo asks just be with her, hold her. Levi replies while you do that I have 2 mated guards stationed at the hallway. Far enough to give you some privacy but close enough to jump at any danger. Hal says. With that we all leave. I look back at Camilla once more. Having my worries melt away just a little because I know only my brother could help her. Matteo's POV the door closes and I look back at Camilla. She whimpers and groans in pain. She shifts uncomfortably on her bed. This is one of the proofs that she's your true mate, Matteo. Even Jess didn't react like this. Mason tells me how do we help her? I ask hold her, cuddle her. Anything. Physical contact is needed to reduce her pain. I'll do my best to hold back. I slowly sit at the edge of her bed and hesitantly hold her leg. She visually relaxes but the heat was stronger. I go closer and hold her hand. She relaxes a little bit more. But she's still whimpering. That's not gonna help her. Go cuddle. I sigh. I climb to her right and lay down. I scoot closer to her and pull her to me. She sighs in relief and cuddles deeper. I tuck her hair behind her ear as I see the redness of her skin starts to fade. All the lust that I felt when I saw her was now gone. The mate bond was now working to make Camilla feel better. Soon I hear light snores. I look down and see Camilla sleeping peacefully. Her eyebrows would occasionally furrow together from feeling uncomfortable. Everything just felt right. How I feel complete when I have her in my arms. How we fit together. And how happy Mason feels. Even Jess didn't have this effect on me and Mason. I was so stupid that I kept denying her. I sigh as I remember all those times that I denied her as my mate, and she would look hurt and heartbroken. I feel angry at myself when I remember I left her when I finally found my other half. It's okay, Matt. You had trust issues. It's understandable that you didn't believe her right away. She understands, don't worry. Mason tells me. I sigh, I pull her closer and secure my arm around her. Now that I believe she's mine, I'm not gonna let anything happen to her. Especially that wolf that wants my crown. I growl lowly as I remember what Cal told me weeks ago. Alpha, the Luna just informed me that a male rogue was just outside our border. He was talking to her and even asked her to go to him as his chosen mate after he takes your crown. That lowlife mutt isn't going anywhere near what's ours. Mason growls protectively and I growl in agreement. Levi, Cal, send out our best trackers to track that rogue that was just by our border a few weeks ago. I'm positive it's the same rogue that joined hands with Onyx and Jess. I linked yes, Alpha. They reply immediately. I look down at Camilla and place a gentle kiss on her head. I am not going to let that mutt touch a single hair on you. Fish 15 Camilla's POV. I wake up feeling better than yesterday. The last thing I remember was being picked up and feeling the softness of my bed. I also remember the intoxicating scent that calmed me and the touch that relaxed me. I also have not slept this good before. I yawn and stretch only to feel a warm, heavy thing on my waist. I open my eyes and see an arm. I look to my left and see Matteo sleeping. My eyes widen. Matteo. On my bed. I look down and thankfully, I'm still clothed in my yesterday's clothes. But why is he on my bed? Cuddling. I close my eyes and sigh. Now is not the time, I need to get ready for the day. I gently lift his arm up, only for him to pull me closer. I sigh. Cammy, we're not in heat anymore. Kara barks happily. I lift my arm and don't see red, heated skin. It also isn't hot anymore. Matteo came to our aid. Kara says happily, well, that explains it. I smile slightly, but then I feel a little bit sad. What if after this he goes back to not noticing me? What if he goes back to denying me as his mate? He probably only did this because Mason took control. And soon a full wave of sadness wash over me. I sigh. I slip out of his secure hold and walk to my bathroom. I freshen up and get ready. Just as I enter back into my room, Matteo jolts up and looks around. His frantic eyes then lands on me and he relaxes. He gets off the bed and with 4 long strides to me, he pulls me into an embrace, inhaling my scent. Matteo. Camilla. His raspy morning voice whispers in my ear. I shiver a little as I feel his warm breath. He backs up and looks at me. I'm sorry. For what? I ask for taking this long to realize you're my true mate. I'm sorry that it took you in heat to make me believe you're truly mine. I shiver in delight as I hear him say those words. Mine. I don't blame you. What happened to you 5 years ago was unfortunate and it made you hard to trust people. I say softly, I want to make it up to you, Camilla. Starting today, I'll be a better mate to you. Matteo says, holding my hands and giving them a squeeze. I smile softly at Matteo and nod. He smiles slightly and pulls me into another embrace. Matteo, how's so? We pull apart and see a grinning couple and a smirking Kyle. I sigh as I brace myself for the teasing that I'm about to receive. Oh, don't let us stop you. We were just checking in. Gina says, smirking. We weren't doing anything. I roll my eyes. I open the curtains and make my bed. Come on, let's go have breakfast. I say. They all nod and together, we go down to the dining area. Upon entering, Caitlin lights up as she sees Matteo is with us and right behind me. We all sit at our own seats and began eating breakfast. It's a surprise to see this morning for breakfast, sweetie. Caitlin says, her eyes looking from me to her son. Matteo hums a response and nods as he eats while I mouth, I'll tell you later. To Caitlin. She grins and nods. After breakfast, they all leave to do their own duties, which leaves me and Matteo. As I stand to leave, Matteo grabs my hand and pulls me towards him, resulting to me letting out a gasp and landing on his lap. Matteo. His eyes observe every inch of my face and then they land on my lips. He looks back up to my eyes. You have a very beautiful face, mate. He says lowly. My face heats up at the compliment from my mate. He gently grabs my face and caresses my cheeks, and then he pulls me in and kisses me. It was something new, something I didn't expect from him. It was slow and passionate. His other hand that rests on my thighs moves up and down my thigh as our kiss turns heated. His hand goes under the dress that I'm wearing and fidgets on the hem of my underwear, and then we break apart for air. Heavy tension of two aroused mates was clear in the room. I clear my throat and get off his lap. I immediately miss his warmth. I can't believe we just made out. I tell Kara, well, believe it, sister. He's a great kisser too. Kara purrs. Matteo stands and turns me to face him. He looks at me with gentle eyes. I have to go now to do some work, but I'll be back later at night, okay? We'll talk about things that should have happened when I should have brought you here. I smile and nod. He kisses my forehead and then leaves. I look at his retreating back and smile. He really acknowledges me now. He accepts us. Kara yaps in my mind, jumping around. I chuckle. Tell me everything, darling. I whip around and see Caitlin beaming with delight. I chuckle as I go to her. With arms linked, we walk out to the gardens and settle down on the bench. I start telling Caitlin about yesterday when I suddenly went in heat to this morning when I woke up to Matteo beside me. Caitlin squeals and laughs. I've never seen her this happy before that it automatically brought a grin to my face. This is great. Caitlin says happily, we're going to talk tonight about things. I tell her. She nods. Probably about finally announcing you as Luna and the Luna ceremony. She says in thought. She turns back to me and grins. My Matteo is finally slowly coming back. Thank you, dear. She says. I nod with a smile and she pulls me into a hug. We leave the garden and part ways once we're inside the mansion. I go back out and walk around the grounds observing my future pack. I go to the pack house to visit Haley. Going in, I bump into a she-wolf. Watch where you're going, klutz. She curses. I look up and see a blonde-haired, tan-skinned, petite she-wolf glaring at me. Sorry, I didn't see you. Obviously. She rolls her eyes and walks away. Attitude much. That's Aspen. I turn and see my best friend looking at the retreating she-wolf with distaste. Aspen. The pack's most obnoxious, self-centered brat whore. Some she-wolves told me she slept with half the male population in this pack. She shudders in disgust, then turns to me. What brings you by? She asks. I grin. I drag her to the living area and tell my best friend everything that happened. Age 16. Camilla's POV after telling Haley everything. She squeals and repeatedly smacks me on the arm. Is this real? Oh my goddess. He finally noticed you. Haley gushes. Pipe down, Haley. I say in a hushed tone as I look around. You can't expect me to pipe at that, Cam. He finally accepted you. She screams. I shushes her while covering her mouth, apologizing to pack members that we've disturbed. Pipe down or shut up, Haley. I hiss. Haley giggles but nods. Anyway, he said we're going to talk tonight about some things. I say some things. She asks, wiggling her eyebrows. Get your head out of the gutter, Hales. I exclaim, slapping her arm as she bursts out laughing. For the rest of the afternoon, Haley and I spend it conversing with pack members and watching her mate train the pack warriors. By the time dinner comes, I have dinner with Caitlin and Gina as Lance and Matteo are still handling with pack matters. After dinner, Caitlin and I do our nightly routine walk around the garden and then bid her good night after. Back in my room, I change into my satin nightgown and prepare for bed. Just as I was about to lie down, there was a knock on the door and it opens to reveal my mate. Matteo, I exclaim. His eyes soften at the sight of me and then turns hard and dark when his eyes lands on my choice of my clothing. I instinctively cover my lower body and he grumbles a growl. Matteo, what is it you want to talk about? I ask, changing the atmosphere. He silently shakes his head and he comes towards me and sits on my bed. I want to talk to you about announcing your Luna title to the pack and our mate and marking night. He says. I nod. I'm sorry for having to announce you to the pack this late. I know I should have took you home with me and announce you to the pack, but I cut Matteo off with a kiss. He sighs in pleasure. Before he deepens it, I pull away. I hold his face gently and look into his eyes. I understand you completely, Matteo. You don't have to keep apologizing. I will keep proving to you that I am for real and here to stay with you forever. He smiles and embraces me. An embrace that I now always crave. You are the best mate the goddess has paired me with, he says. I softly smile and kiss him. He responds immediately. He leaves and comes back later looking refreshed and changed into his sleeping attire. He dives under the covers and cuddles with me, discussing what needs to be discussed and until I've fallen asleep. The next morning, I slip out of Matteo's tight embrace and grab my usual morning jog attire and stuff them into my bag. I leave my room quietly and jog down and out into a nearby tree. I drop the bag and start jogging. Jogging turns into a run and soon I shift and Carla starts sprinting. We stop at our usual lake and Carla takes a sip. A snap of a tree branch causes Carla to stand alert and look around. She growls at the nearby bush and soon he shows himself. My, you're so good at finding me, your majesty. He says with a sick grin and laughs. I wonder, my queen, how good it would feel once I've claimed you and your land. It's going to be so fun watching your pathetic mate suffer under me. He grins. Carla growls louder, threatening him. He looks at us, amused. I'll see you again, my queen. Soon you will be mine and that pathetic king's title and crown, and he will no longer be with you. He says and disappears laughing. My blood run cold at his words while Carla's still in rage and disgust. He's going to kill my mate, I just know it. I tell Carla to run back. I slip into my robe and run back to my room. Upon opening my door, I see Matteo pacing back and forth in panic. His head whips towards me. He storms towards me in anger and relief. Where have you been? His voice booms around the room. Calm down. I went for a run, I say. He hugs me. I feel him shaking but soon he has calmed down. I break our embrace and look up at him. Call Kyle and Levi to meet in your office. It's urgent. I say, what is it about? He asks, I'll tell you later. Go, I'll meet with you after I've showered. He nods. He kisses my forehead and leaves. Shaking off the nerves, I walk to my bathroom and freshen up. I change into an oversized shirt and shorts, paired with my white Adidas. I let my hair down to dry naturally. After I'm all ready, I walk down to Matteo's home office. I open the door and see the three men are here and having a small talk. Their heads snap to me when they hear me close the door. What is this about, Cam? Kyle asks. I've had another encounter with that rogue this morning. I start. Matteo growls. What happened? Did he touch you? Matteo asks. I shake my head. I let out a nervous sigh and start telling them. Fish 17 Camilla's POV. After telling them what happened earlier this morning, Matteo's face hardens. His arms captures my waist and secure me protectively. No one is taking you from me. Not even that lowlife rogue. He growls angrily. I rub his back in a soothing way to relax him and Matteo visibly relaxes. Send out our best trackers since it was just a few hours ago. We have a better chance at finding him. I sent word, Alpha. Levi says, his voice hard and on edge as he just heard that a rogue wants his Alpha's title and his Luna. We'll catch him, Alpha Luna. Kyle says, a finality in his tone third-person POV. He chuckles to himself quietly as he arrives back at their hidden quarters. You're back. He looks up and sees his red-haired companion, looking at him annoyed and arms crossed. How many times do I have to tell you to stop going there? We need to prepare if you want to succeed and not get killed. Like Onyx. Her voice wavers a little at the end. I just wanted to take a peek at my soon-to-be Queen Luna. She scoffs and rolls her eyes. Anyway, is he back? He asks no. Do you think he's going to come back? She asks he should. Suddenly, they hear voices outside and someone shouting. They walk towards the window and see Matteo's men searching the grounds. This is the reason why I told you not to go. She sighs and rubs her temples. Relax, we're fine. They're never going to find us with that magic spell you put around this place. She rolls her eyes and leaves. He grins to himself as he thinks of all the possible things once they've succeeded. We will rule this land and no one can stop us. He says and laughs evilly. Camilla's POV. A sudden shiver run through me. I rub my arms to keep myself warm. For some reason I feel strange, like something big is going to happen. You ready? Snapping out of my thoughts, I nod at Haley. Today, Matteo told me that I should go for a dress fitting for my Luna ceremony. He said he's got everything covered for the Luna ceremony, and that I shouldn't worry about anything. Matteo's best tailor, Charlie, has his own store just near the pack house. A few minutes later we arrive to Charlie's boutique. Opening the door, a woman's head pops up behind the counter and her eyes widens. Babe. She's here. She shouts. I look to Haley in confusion while she grins. A man walks out of a room and sees us. His eyes lights up and he comes towards us excitedly with the woman in tow. Luna, Haley. He says as he bows. The woman follows with a grin on her face. He stands back up and grins. I am Charlie and this is my mate, Laura. He introduces. I smile. Nice to meet you both. It's an honor to design your dress, Luna. Laura gushes. My mate is the designer while I make them. Charlie says proudly, thank you for your hard work. Looking around your boutique, I look around and look back at the couple with a grin. I can tell you both make an excellent team. You both are so talented. I finish. Laura squeals as Charlie smiles proudly. Thank you, Luna. Laura says okay, enough chit-chat. Charles, let's get measuring. Haley says Charles. I ask. Charlie and Laura are actually the first two people I met and became friends with when I came here, and then they introduced me to more people. I nod. The couple leads me to their office. Laura measures me and dictates them while Charlie notes them down. Next, we all sit and began discussing what type of dress I wanted, and what color looks best on me. After a quick rough sketch, Laura shows me the design and I grin happily. Laura grins and thanks me for the compliment. That's all for now. I'll do a more in detail design, and then Charlie will begin doing the dress. The next time we'll meet is for you to try the dress on and make final adjustments, and then we'll take it to you 3 days before your ceremony. Laura tells me. I nod. Thank you, you too. I say it's no problem, we'll see you soon, Luna. Charlie says after a few exchange of goodbyes. Haley and I leave their boutique. So what now? Haley asks Maul. I suggest oh hell yeah. I giggle. We get into a cab and tell the driver our destination. We arrive to the mall and the first store we enter is a boba store. After buying our drinks, we walk around the mall. By the time it's 8 p.m. we each have 5 shopping bags. Haley calls for a cab and we are on the way home. As we arrive back at the pack house, Haley slows down her pace. I look back at her and sees her eyes are foggy. Mind link. Haley's eyes clears and she looks at me with the same look she gave me when we got into trouble before with our dads and Ben. Crap. Not again. This always happens when I'm with you. I groan. I'm so flattered. She says sarcastically and rolls her eyes. We got to the mansion and the door swings open before we could open. Kyle looks at us, more at Haley disappointedly with a bit of relieved expression. Where have you been? Kyle asks Haley the M. Don't you know how worried I was when I couldn't find you anywhere? But and what time is it? 9 p.m. Haley groans and pulls Kyle into a kiss to shut him up. Okay, lovebirds. Thanks for the heads up, Haley. I roll my eyes and slip away from them. I climb up the stairs and walk to my room. Before I could open my door, I hear a low growl and I smell him. He turns me around and pins me to my door. I gasp. I look up and see his normal blue-green eyes are gone, they're completely black. Where have you been? He asks lowly. Oh my goddess, that was hot. Kara says. Kara, for the sake of our well-being, stop being so turned on, we're in trouble here. No. You are, I'm not. Kara purrs. I mentally roll my eyes. Mate. I snap out of my conversation with Kara and look back at my mate. You. I stutter. He dips his head into the crook of my neck and inhales. He breathes out and I shiver at his hot breath fanning at my neck. I could smell your arousal, mate. Crap. Before it could register in my mind, we're inside my room and on my bed. Matteo's on top of me. Matteo, he growls and nips at my neck. I should teach you a lesson for sneaking away after your dress appointment, he says huskily. I swallow the lump on my throat. Oh my goddess, please have mercy. Vich 18 Camilla's POV. Matteo captures my lips in a rough and hungry kiss. I pull him closer, wanting to finally mate with him. But just like before, he pulls himself away from me. I look at him and wonder why he stopped. Matteo. He looks to me, and it finally dawned to me that he was hesitant in taking me and making me his. But what is he hesitant for? He accepts me, he finally knows I am his real mate. The air shifted and there was now tension radiating out of me. Get out. Cam, get out. I scream. I leave my bed and storm to my bathroom as I hear him growl and slam my bedroom door. I sigh frustratedly in front of my bathroom mirror. That was unnecessary, Cammy. I look up and see Carla has showed herself, my right eye changing into Carla's eye color. I roll my eyes. I just don't get it. Cammy, I thought you said you understood him. You know people with trust issues don't give in fully even if they know it's real. You told him you would always be there and prove to him you are real. I sigh. Carla's right, she always is. She's part of why I'm usually patient and understanding. Of course I'm right. Carla says proudly. I roll my eyes. Could you not read my mind? I can converse with you, you know. I say I know, but where's the fun in that? I chuckle. I suppose I should go apologize. I say yes, but first go shower. Are you implying I'm stinky? Yes, I am. Mean. Carla giggles and goes back into my mind. I sigh as I strip and freshen up. After my shower, I change into my sleeping attire. I shake off my nerves and knock on Matteo's door. Seconds later, the door opens and I meet with his bare chest, ripped and wet from the shower. I look up at him and see that he noticed my attire. What do you want? If you think you can seduce me after what you did in there, think again, he says coldly. Stunned, I look back down. This was his coldest he has ever been with me. I let out a sigh and look back up at him. I'm sorry for the way I acted. I was just frustrated and overthink too much on why you stopped kissing me. I should have known that knowing I'm really your mate doesn't mean you fully trust me. I say. It hurts that he doesn't fully trust me yet, but that's the reality. He'll trust me fully soon. I shouldn't rush it. Without another word, I turned to walk back to my room. Just as I was about to open my door, I was engulfed in a hug from behind. I'm sorry for teasing you and not finishing what I started, he says. I turn around and look up at his eyes. He dips down and kisses me gently. I wanted to wait until after you've been officially announced as my Luna Queen. I smile. We can wait until then, I say. He kisses my forehead and grabs my hand as he turns us around and guides me into his room. I stop and tug at my hand. He looks back and sees my panicked state. He laughs. We're just going to sleep, my naughty mate, he says. Oh. I say, my face heating up and turning red in embarrassment. He chuckles as he continues guiding me to his room. We dive under the covers and cuddles until we've fallen asleep. Matteo's POV. The next morning I wake up to someone shaking me. I crack an eye open and see Levi. What? I ask groggily. The guards have an update regarding the rogue yesterday. Both of my eyes snap open. I nod. Give me a sec, I say. I slip out of the bed without waking Camilla. I throw on a shirt and we both walk out of my room. We arrive to my office and I see 2 guards waiting. Give it to me straight. Did you find him? I ask. We followed the scent of the rogue, Alpha. But we didn't find anything. It was a dead end, Alpha. What do you mean it was a dead end? I thought you found a trace. We did, Alpha. But then after following it, the scent just disappeared when we got to the lake. The lake? Which lake? The one near the west border, Alpha. How could a scent just disappear? Even if a wolf jumps into the lake and out, the scent would be slightly stronger, Levi says. My growl deepened and Mason is as frustrated as I am. I want the 2 of you to scout that area. Whatever you find, report back. Yes, Alpha. Once they opened the door, my mate's scent filled my nose. She's awake. How much did she hear? As if I hear her come in. I look up and see her looking at me with concern. Camilla, what are you doing here? Page 19. Camilla's POV. I groan as I sense bright light under my eyelids. I yawn and stretch my limbs. I open my eyes and see that I woke up to an empty space beside me. I have never slept that great before. No dreams or nightmares. I sit up and make my way to my room to get ready. After a few minutes, I'm all ready and make my way to have breakfast. Sensing a pang of anger, I knew that it must have been Matteo. Ever since our occasional intimate interaction, our mate bond must have been bonding together and stronger for me to feel snippets of my mate's emotions. I pack up Matteo's portion of breakfast, grab a cup of coffee for me to drink while I make my way to his office. Once there, I reach to open the door when I hear his growl. He's upset. What do you mean it was a dead end? I thought you found a trace. We did, Alpha. But then after following it, the scent just disappeared when we got to the lake. The lake? Which lake? The one near the west border, Alpha. How could a scent just disappear? Even if a wolf jumps into the lake and out, the scent would be slightly stronger. I hear Levi say. Matteo's growl deepened. I want the two of you to scout that area. Whatever you find, report back. Yes, Alpha. I step away and pretend to have just arrived to the office. The two trackers acknowledges me and leaves. I go in and see Matteo's angry upon seeing me. His anger disappears. Camilla, what are you doing here? Your breakfast. I look to the right and see Levi in deep thought. Hey Lev. He snaps out of his thoughts and smiles. I'm gonna go take my breakfast, I'll see you later, Matt. Matteo nods as he begins eating. Levi leaves as I sit on the chair in front of Matteo's desk. What were you guys talking about that got you so mad? Just pack stuff. He answers. My eyebrows furrow together. Did he just lie to me? They were talking about some leads and scent disappearing. Is this about that rogue? And he just lied to me about it. Maybe he just wants to protect us. That's stupid, Kara. If it's connected to us, shouldn't he tell us? Kara was now silent because she knows I might be right. No, she knows I'm right about these things because even she would want to know what's going on if she's involved. I stand and turn to leave. Camilla, where are you going? He asks. Just going for a walk. Oh, let me go with you, I'm almost done eating. No, it's okay. I'm just going to go around the land. I say. I leave the office without waiting for his reply. I leave the pack house and walk towards the lake that they were talking about. I look around and see nothing out of the ordinary. I let Camilla shift and sniff around the area. She nears the border when she smells something. Hiding at the bush, there's a wristband. Kara growls as it smells like that rogue, but there was something different with it. It belongs to a rogue, but not that much. But it also smells like him. Kara informs me what. I ask confused. Kara lends me her nose for me to sniff and she's right. Do you think maybe the owner of this wristband knows that rogue? I ask. Yeah. Maybe. They might even be working together. But something about the smell is familiar though. Kara says. I nod in agreement. It is familiar, I just can't pinpoint what it is or who it belongs to. Should we get it? For evidence or something? I ask. No, because then Matteo would smell it from us and he'd think we're betraying him just like Jess did. Let's bury it for now. Kara says. I nod. Kara digs a hole away from the bush. She picks up a few leaves and puts them on the hole and then the wristband, more leaves and then covers it back up. There. Let's go back before Matteo grows suspicious. Kara says okay. I let Kara more freedom to run around before I decide to shift back. I jog back into the mansion and into my room for a shower and a new set of clothes. Whoever the owner of that wristband is, it's someone familiar to me. But who? It's been a week since I found that wristband. The preparations for the Luna ceremony is almost done and Caitlin is now overseeing it and making sure everything is perfect. Matteo has been busy with more pack stuff and the search for the rogue. He still hasn't told me anything, but he doesn't have to because I know. I have also been a bit occupied. Apart from going back to Charlie's boutique to fit the gown, I've been racking my brain with Kara about who the wristband owner is. My Luna ceremony is around the corner, and the feeling of uneasiness keeps growing. It's not that I'm nervous to officially meet the pack as the Luna, but it's something else and I can't tell what it is. It's the afternoon and I let Kara out for a run. She has been bugging me the whole day. Stripping out of my clothes, I shift into my wolf form and Kara takes off running. She pants happily as she runs. After a few more rounds around the packlands, she stops by lake for a drink. Car, should we look if the wristband is still there? I ask. Sure. She answers. She licks her mouth dry and trots towards where she buried the wristband. Digging the soil, we both gasp as the wristband isn't there anymore. And it has been replaced with a note. You found me. We both read. We heard a dark chuckle behind us. Before we could turn around to see who it is, smoke clouds my vision and I fall to the soil. I slip into unconsciousness not before I smell that scent. I couldn't believe it. It's him. Leave your guesses in the comments, then subscribe to us and wait together for the moment of revelation. Camilla was kidnapped and impersonated by a witch named Drea. After the real Camilla escaped, she was not believed by Gina and others. What happened? Can the real Camilla successfully prove her identity? Do you want to know if Camilla can escape from Drea's clutches? Subscribe to us for more excitement. D20 Gina's POV. My mother paces back and forth in the living room, getting worried and impatient. Mom, calm down. I'm sure she's fine. Matteo tells her, but I know he's just as worried as she is. We all are. I haven't seen her since earlier this morning. It's 2 a.m. and she's still nowhere to be seen. She isn't like this. Mom says, getting more stressed and worried by the second. I know, Mom, I know. We have our guards and best trackers out there looking for her. They'll find her and she'll be okay. He reassures her. Before Matteo could utter another word, the door opens and her scent clouds my nose. Camilla. He rushes to her and squeezes her into a hug. Where have you been? He asks. Just out on a run. She answers. He pulls away and I notice something strange. Even Sora has noticed too. Her usual blue eyes are dim, her skin is paler than before, and her hair darker than before. Don't she look unusual? I ask Sora. Something's not right, but let's not point that out first. Sora tells me. I nod. Anyway, I'm gonna go freshen up. I'm sorry if I missed dinner, she says. Camilla's eyes lands on mine and I notice she narrows her eyes slightly at me and then she leaves. That is definitely weird. I leave the living room and follow after her to her room. Can I help you? She asks, turning before she opens her door. Where were you? I asked everyone I passed earlier asking where you are, and they said they haven't seen you. I ask. I was just out on a run, normal werewolf stuff. I must have fell asleep by the lake while I was resting. She answers. I nod slowly. I notice how she slightly look irritated. "'Kay, well, I'll let you go. Good night, Camilla." "Ang night," she says and closes the door. Something is seriously wrong with her. Sora says. Exactly. Camilla has never looked irritated at me for asking questions like how she did just now. And did you notice she said normal werewolf stuff? Werewolves don't say that. We have to keep an eye on her for now, but let's not say anything yet. I nod in agreement and leave to go to my room. For the next few days, I discreetly kept a close eye on Camilla. I noticed how she didn't know who Haley is when she hugged Camilla, how Camilla would leave after eating dinner and skipping her favorite routine night walk with Mom and I, how she'd always stick by Matteo's side and never leave him, how she's always returning back to the mansion at unreasonable hours at night. So tonight when I saw Camilla sneak out of the mansion, I followed her. I masked my scent and followed her quietly. Werewolves can't mask their scent, but because I studied witchcraft after what happened with Onyx, I know all the spells that witches do and I can cast spells using the wand that a witch friend made for me. Coming to a stop at the west border near the lake, Camilla walked towards the border and quietly whistles. After a few minutes, a man emerges from the bushes with a grin. What is she doing? That's a rogue. Sora exclaims. Shush, Sora. Good to see you again, Camilla. He grins. Yeah, where is she? In her room, shouting for help as always. He chuckles. Good. The Luna ceremony is coming up soon. Don't let her escape and keep an eye on her. Our plan is working and soon enough the pack will be ours. She laughs evilly as the man darkly chuckles. Don't you worry, he is back and keeping an eye on her. Their reunion was interesting. He grins. She chuckles. Alright, I have to go. Remember, our plan will take action on the night of the Luna ceremony. He nods. I leave quietly and make it back to the mansion. I sit on the living room waiting for Camilla. That was definitely not Camilla. She's evil and full of greed. Camilla isn't like that. Sora says. I agree. Wherever they're keeping Camilla, it's most probably in their lair. I just hope Camilla is okay. I say we have to tell Matteo. But will he listen to us? He didn't before when we warned him about Jess, remember? He will. I can sense Mason knows Camilla isn't Camilla. Before I could reply, I hear the front door open and close very quietly. Where were you, Camilla? I ask as I see her trying to sneak back quietly. She looks to me and then subtly roll her eyes. She puts on her fake smile. Just out for some fresh air. She replies. I nod. I stand and walk to her. Holding her hand, I feel her slightly flinch and pull back. I put on my best caring and concerned face. You have to be careful, okay? The rogue is still out there and they could take you away at any time of day. She nods and pulls away. Don't worry, I'm always careful. I smirk internally, but apparently not that careful enough. Sora say, smirking. Okay, that's good. Have a good sleep, Cam. I say and leave stupid dogs. Camilla is already taken and this pack will soon be ours. I hear her mumble quietly with my heightened senses. I refrain myself from turning around and taking her right there right now. There will be time where I'll take her down and reveal her identity, but not now. She's 21. Gina's POV. After breakfast, I follow Matteo as he goes to his office at the pack house. He turns to me with an eyebrow raised and I gave him the look. Ever since we were kids, Matteo and I have been super close as siblings. We'd always have each other's back and would cover for each other. We also came up with our own way of saying I need to talk to you alone. Without it being suspicious. Yes, we could have used our mind links, but it's not exactly discreet. Matteo slightly nods and sends his men a few feet away from his office doors. I close the door and use my blind eye spell to see if anyone is near the door. When I see there's none, I sit at the right side of Matteo on the couch. Matteo, you trust me, right? I start. Of course I do. As your sister, you'll listen to what I have to tell you. Yes, I will. Gina, what is this about? You're making me anxious. I sigh. I look at him in the eye to show that I am serious. Then I tell him what Sora and I have noticed and found out lately. Camilla's POV. I gasp as I wake up from my sleep. My eyes adjust to the dim lighting of the room. I'm still here. I thought my body sore with bruises seen on my wrists and ankles. I've been here for a few days now and these chains laced with wolfsbane have been preventing me from healing and break away from them. Carla has been quiet too. She's far from her mate and she's weak too. I let out a low growl as I remember what happened that day. Flashback. I wake up and rub the back of my head. Hearing chains, I look down and see I've been chained up. I look to my feet and they are chained too. What's more, they sting and when I move it hurts a lot. What in the world? I mumble. I jump at the different tone of voice that came out of me. Was that really me? I look around my surroundings and realized I've been locked up in a room. The windows are closed shut with planks of wood nailed across it. No other doors except the entrance and the bathroom. There's also only a cot that I'm currently sitting on, and only one light bulb at the center of the room. Where am I? I ask myself just then. The door opens and his scent filled my nose. It can't be. I whip my head towards the door. I gasp and my eyes widen at who I'm seeing. He looks at me with that same crazed eyes and a sick grin. You. I say, ignoring how different my voice sounds. Yes, it is I. I'm touched you haven't forgotten me. He says as he comes closer. He crouched in front of me and reached for me but I flinch away. Why are you here? You were locked up. I say. He chuckles. Yes, but I was able to escape. Your father has some lousy guards. As for why I'm here. I'm here for you, baby. He says. I was sick to my stomach. He reaches for me again and again I flinch away. He growls and grabs my chin to face him. You will be mine, Camilla. Whether you like it or not, you have no mate but me. He growls. I spit in his face and kick him. I am not yours and I won't ever be yours, Daniel. Never. I growl. He chuckles darkly. We'll see about that. He says. He stands and leaves the room, locking the door behind him. I growl, frustrated at how he managed to escape and had the nerve to hold me hostage. Once we get out of here, I'm beating him to pulp. How dare he touch us and claim us as his? What a delusional prick. Carla growls. Save your energy, Carla. We're being chained with wolfsbane. Carla sighs. I should have been more careful. I'm sorry, Cammy. It's not your fault, Carla. Let's just find a way to get out of here. I say. A few minutes later the door opens. I look up and see that rogue who has been visiting me. I growl as my eyes land on him and he chuckles. It's nice to see you too, Drea. He grins. I'm not Drea. I think you have the wrong person. Unchain me this instant. Oh, but. I don't think I do, he says. As I look at him angrily confused, he reveals a mirror and faces it towards me. I look to the mirror and see a totally different person. The girl in the reflection I'm seeing has black wavy hair with red highlights, green eyes, and tan-skinned. I blink a couple of times. Is that me? Why do I look so different? Where is the real me? I look up at him with a glare. What did you do to me? I ask. He chuckles. Oh, Drea, did you forget? Okay, fine, since you're such a good friend. I'll help you relive your memory. You casted a spell on Camilla to knock her unconscious and switched your appearances. Remember now. A witch. So this Drea is a witch. Let me go, get me out of here. I scream. Oh no, can do, Drea. Camilla is days away for her Luna ceremony. I can't have you ruining her special day. It's for your own good, friend. He grins. I growl as I tug at the chains only to cry out in pain. I breathe heavily as my eyes look back at him. I swear, once I get out of here, you will suffer under me. Don't underestimate me. I threaten. He burst out laughing. Oh, this is rich. Sure, I will suffer under you, he says and continues laughing as he goes towards the door. You are so funny, Drea. Take it easy there, you won't ever be able to escape. Not until the ceremony is over anyway. He says and closes the door laughing. What a lunatic. I mumble angrily. Flashback over. After that day, whenever I would scream, misbehave, or reject Daniel, they'd whip me with a stick laced with wolfsbane. The only food they give me are 2 pieces of bread and water once or twice a day. Kara has been quiet ever since. I told her to save her energy for when we're successful in escaping. I've only ever seen this Drea person once. She came to see me and recharge from what she said. I'll see her again on that day to recharge, so make sure she doesn't escape. I remember her saying. Kara and I assume that day means the Luna ceremony, but we aren't sure. I don't know what recharge she's talking about, but if it means I'm involved in it, then I have to escape before she comes back and recharge. I won't let her take my pack. I say with determination, and I mean it. How dare they mess with me? They're going to wish they didn't. She's 22. Gina's POV. Matteo swiftly stands up and paces back and forth, confused. Stop playing with me, G. Why are you confusing me? I finally accepted that Camilla is my mate, and now you're saying she's not Camilla. I sigh. Matt. You guys have been telling me that it's real, that she's real. He yells, stress. Matteo, listen to me. I raised my voice and hold him still. The Camilla with us now is an impostor. She disguised herself as your mate to take something from you. Our Camilla has been kidnapped and is somewhere. We're going to find her and bring her back. I tell him slowly. Hasn't Mason been feeling confused lately that he's not feeling the mate bond between you and the impostor? I ask. He nods slowly. He has. He keeps pacing around my mind and telling me something isn't right. There is your proof. He sighs. How did this happen? It probably happened at one of Camilla's daily morning jogs. He paces back and forth again, feeling anxious. I'll find her, Matt. Don't worry. I'm coming with you. He says. No, you should stay here and act normal like nothing is wrong. I'll have 10 of our trusted guards with me and find Camilla. But that's my mate, G. I know. But if you start acting worried and the imposter sees that, we'll put the entire pack in danger. He sighs worriedly, but eventually he nods, knowing that I'm right. Okay. I'll go and come back discreetly. I'll update you when I found her. I say. He nods and hugs me tight. Bring her back safely, G. I will. I pull away and give my brother a reassuring smile before leaving his office. I march my way to the training grounds and call our strongest and trusted guards to follow me. Once we're far from the others and out of earshot, I filled them in on a sudden search party for Camilla. After briefing them, we start preparing to leave. Hang on, Cam. We're coming for you. Camilla's POV. I groan and clear my throat a little at how dry it is. It has been 17 hours since my last drop of water. I guess you could say that I misbehaved again and they punished me with bruises on my body and starved me. Carla has been saving all her energy. She disconnected from me to be able to do that. My ears perk up at the sound of keys and seconds later my door opens. I look towards the door and see their guard had come to give me food and water. This is my chance in escaping. The guard comes and set the tray by my feet. I clear my throat to speak. Can you please help me? I need to pee really bad and it has been hours since I last did. The guard looks at me unconvinced. Please. I really need to pee. No tricks, I promise, I'm too weak for that anyway. I say. Just then, Carla connected with me again. Get ready, Carla. We going to escape. I tell her. The guard seemed to be convinced and comes to unlock my chains on my ankles. He grabs me and pulls me up to my feet. Once in the middle of the room, I swiftly tackle him to the ground and snap his neck. In an instant, he's dead. I quickly and quietly grab the keys and unchain my wrists. Carla starts the process of healing my wounds. I grab the guard and drag him to my cot and chain him. I close the lights and quietly close the door. I run out of the hallway and down the stairs, looking around my surroundings from time to see if anyone is around. Once the coast is clear, I run quickly to the back door through the kitchen. I open the door and come face to face with another guard. As he was about to alert the others, I place my hand on his mouth and snap his neck. He drops to the floor unmoving. I drag him in and hide him behind the kitchen island. I leave the room and close the door. Once I'm out, I shift to my wolf form and start sprinting. I run and run, never looking back. Carla neatly swerve around the trees and over the rocks. Minutes later, we could feel the familiar push of the border. We're almost home. I say happily. But isn't weird how near the lair was to our land? Carla asked. And I agreed. It took a few minutes for us to run out of that area and back home. Cammy, look. It's Gina. Carla exclaims happily. She let me shift to my human form and I keep running towards Gina. Gina. I call happily. She turns around and sees me, but what happened next stunned me. The guards shift to their wolf form and protects Gina from me. I come to stop as they bare their canines at me and growl warningly. Who are you and how do you know me? She asks Gina. It's me. Camilla. I say, looking back to see if they followed me. Gina scoffs. Do you really think I'm that dense to take your word and trust you? But it is me. I say, no, you're not. Now where is the real Camilla? I'm right here. Please believe me. I plead. I fall to my knees due to exhaustion's 23 Camilla's POV. Gina glares at me hard as I'm pleading with my knees on the floor, occasionally looking back to check if they're coming for me. Before I knew it, Gina starts to chant something with a wand. Her eyes glows white as she chants. White smoke surround me. I cough and sweat them away from my face. A minute later, the smoke disappears and I can see them again. They gasp as they see it's really me. Camilla! Gina exclaims and immediately comes to engulf me in a hug. The warriors circle around us. The only female tracker hands me extra clothes. Oh Cam. I'm so glad you're okay. Gina cries. We hug each other tighter and then pull away. Gina, quick, let's go back home. They don't know I escaped. They could be after me. I say hurriedly. Gina nods. We stand to our feet. Gina starts chanting something and soon, an invisible bubble surrounds us. This will protect our scent. Let's go. The warriors have now changed back to their human form and we're walking back home. It's now just us and we've secretly entered the mansion and into Gina's room. Stay here. I'll go get some food while you go shower. I nod. Gina leaves and I go to the bathroom and freshen up, scrubbing my body and face clean. Then I pat myself dry and wear the clothes that has been laid out for me. I enter back to the bedroom and see Gina with a huge amount of food. My mouth starts to water as I stare at the food like it's heaven. Gina giggles. Well, don't just stand there, come and eat. I walk to the table and start eating. As Gina asks questions, I answer them while I eat. After I've eaten, Gina and I begin planning. A few hours later, we've came up with a solid plan to capture my kidnapper. This is going to be fun. Kara smirks. I smirk, agreeing. Gina's POV. It's finally the Luna ceremony. I've called Charlie to personally hand me the dress for Camilla secretly, and he does without any questions. The impostor had no idea there was a dress made for Camilla, so she had an Omega go and pick a dress for her. Everything is going as we planned. The impostor somehow doesn't seem to know that Camilla has escaped and came back home. She has been almighty, ordering Omegas around like she's the Luna. The party is on full swing. Every Alpha and Luna from every pack are here to support and get to know their future Luna Queen. As always, Matteo displays his cold, emotionless face as he goes around greeting Alphas and Lunas. Mom and Dad are chatting away happily with Camilla's parents. Miss Gina. I turn and see Ben. Benedict Murphy. In the flesh. He grins. How are you? I'm good. Just missing a mate though. You'll find her, Ben. I smile. He smiles and nods. We catch up a bit more before it's finally time. Dad goes up to the stage with a bright smile. Hello everyone. Welcome to Red Moon, and thank you for attending the Luna ceremony. Everyone claps. As many of you have already known, my son led this pack and the whole werewolf community without a mate for a long time. Recently, he finally found his mate. She's from White Eclipse and my good friend's daughter, Theo Murphy. As the former Alpha King and an elder to this community, I'm honored to introduce your Luna Queen to all of you. As everyone claps, the impostor goes up to the stage with Matteo while I glare at her. Camilla Murphy of White Eclipse, as the Luna Queen, you are to take care of this pack and the whole community. You are to lead and be a role model together with Matteo. You are to rule and lead fairly and equally. Do you abide? I do. The impostor says. This crown that symbolizes royalty and have been worn by every destined Luna of Red Mood will shine its brightest when it's placed on the Luna's head. This crown will now be placed on her head for it to shine. As Dad is about to place the crown on the impostor's head, the door bursts open and I smell Camilla's scent. Too bad that's not going to shine like it's supposed to, Camilla says as I smirk. Everyone gasps as they turn to see Camilla. Everyone's stunned faces then turns to confusion. The impostor's face contorts into a scowl. Camilla smirks. Hello, Drea. An impostor. How dare you interrupt my ceremony and disguise as me? Drea screams, your ceremony? Are you sure about that, Drea? Camilla walks closer to the stage. Stop calling me Drea. I am Camilla, Luna of this pack and queen of this community. Get out before I call the warriors on you. She threatens. Camilla chuckles. Go ahead. Let's see who they'll obey. Drea's face soon turns red as she glares at Camilla. Camilla slowly walks up stage with a relaxed composure. You didn't think about one thing. Camilla starts to say. She stands closer to Drea. You underestimated me, she says. She grabs Drea's wrist and soon Drea turns back into her original appearance. Drea's eyes widen as everyone gasps and Dad back away, protecting the crown. Camilla smirks. You'll never beat me, Drea. Even when you start to think you can beat me and kill me off, you've already lost. I'm not like any other she-wolf. Drea growls out in frustration. I should have killed you when I had the chance, she screams. Before she could hurt Camilla, Camilla has already wrapped the cuffs that I stained with magic on her wrists, having her unable to cast spells. Oh, and I'm faster than you. Camilla smirks. Drea goes hysterical. Camilla orders the warriors to take her and lock her away. With Drea complete gone, Camilla faces the confused crowd. Hello, everyone. I apologize for what you just witnessed. I am the one and only Camilla Murphy of White Eclipse and daughter of Alpha Theo. The Camilla who was introduced earlier was a fake, a witch who kidnapped me and disguised herself as me. I can reassure you that everything is fine now, and I'll see to it that she won't hurt anyone else. I say Sish 24 Camilla's POV. Camilla. I turn to Matteo. My Matteo who I haven't seen for days. My mate. The strong display that I put up came crumbling down as soon as I look at my mate. Tears starts falling as soon as I hug him tight, and he did to me. He breathes in my scent. It is really you, he says as he hugs me tighter. Of course it's me. You're my mate, he says. I pull away as I hear a cough beside us. Lance. I smile, wiping my tears away. He smiles. You've been brave and strong, Camilla. Truly the Luna Queen of this pack and this community. He turns to the crowd with a proud smile. Let's continue on with the ceremony, Lance announces. Lance repeats the duty of a Luna Queen and I abide. He places the crown on my head and soon after, the crown shines brightly like how he said it would. The gem on the crown, which was green emerald, turns into red ruby. I guess red is my color. The crowd bows in respect to me and Matteo. After the ceremony, the party continues and I go around greeting alphas and lunas and they congratulate me. I stop at the drink station to get a drink and hydrate myself. Camilla. Before I could turn to see who it is, I was attacked by a bear hug, knocking the air out of me. Could have hugged me like a normal person. Hales. I breathe out. I thought you were ignoring me for no reason. I thought you've started to hate me. Haley exclaims, how could I ever ignore and hate my best friend? You know me better than that, I say. Haley sniffs. Well, thank the goddess it was the impostor. She was the worst, by the way. She's just like Aspen, she says, rolling eyes in disgust as I chuckle. For the rest of the night, Matteo occasionally stays beside me as I converse with our guests. He'd sometimes rest his arm around my waist or hold my hand. It sent tingles around my body and Carla was giddy. After the night is finally over, Matteo and I retreat back to our rooms together. Before I could open my door, Matteo grabs my hand and tugs me towards him. I land on his hard chest, stunned. The Luna Queen can't be sleeping at a different room from her Alpha King. He whispers on my ear. I shiver a little at his action. I pull away a bit. Well, I should get my clothes then. I say nervously. He held me tight, preventing me from leaving. You can wear my clothes. What? Without a warning, he opens his door and pulls me along with him. He closes the door and carries me bridal style, making me gasps. What has gotten into him? He wasn't this straightforward and brave before. Maybe he finally understands that we're his mate. He finally trusts us now. Carla exclaims happily. It's long overdue, but I'm going to make you mine tonight. He says, his voice raspy with lust and desire. Matteo. I get it now, Camilla. You're mine. My heart swelled at what he said. I'm happy. He fully acknowledges me now as his. Not wasting any more time, I grab his face and kiss him gently. He kisses back almost instantly, our lips moving in sync. Seconds later, I feel the softness on my back and Matteo is now on top of me. Our gentle kiss turns to a heated one with need and love. He helps me undo my dress and drops it on the floor, leaving me bare-chested and on my underwear. He takes his suit off, his eyes never leaving me. He dips down and starts kissing my neck. You're beautiful, mate. He whispers and I shiver. Oh my goddess, Matteo. Matteo. Please. He pulls away and moves to my neck. I give more access and he licks the spot where he'll mark me. His fangs appears and he marks me as soon as we hit our climax and our juices are released. He collapsed beside me, both us breathing heavily. I turn to him with a loving look. He looks at me. Should I mark you too? Right now? I ask. He smiles. Without answering, he moves his neck to give me access. Pushing the pain and the soreness between my legs, I move up to his neck. I lick the spot and then mark him. He groans in pain, then pleasure. I lick it again for it to close and heal, and it takes a few seconds for it to close and my mark to appear. I move back down and cuddle close to him. We're now one and belong to each other forever. He says. I smile. I wouldn't have it any other way. Page 25. Camilla's POV. The next morning I wake up still feeling sore down there, but I've never been happier. I feel Carla has become stronger and my bond with Matteo has been stronger than before. I could feel every single thing he's feeling. I turn to my beautiful mate who's still sleeping peacefully. I trace his eyebrows with my thumb and down to his lips. If you wanted to kiss me, you could have just done it to wake me up. I blink a couple times before I realized he's awake. He opens his eyes and smiles down at me. Good morning, my love. He says. My heart flutters at his greeting. I feel my cheeks heat up. You're so cute when you blush. He says he looks so good right now, and to top it off, his raspy morning voice makes my toes curl. I feel my core clenching. Babe, you better behave yourself because I can feel and smell you getting turned on and aroused. He huskily say, how about another round? I've lost count how many times we've done it last night. He whispers teasingly. I gasp. Flustered, I hurriedly leave the bed and into the bathroom as I hear him laugh. What has gotten into me? I'm not like this at all. I've suddenly became a different person overnight. The effect he has on me is crazy. I tell Carla I don't mind taking him again. Carla purrs. Behave or I'm blocking you out, Carla. I scold her. She giggles and jogs to the back of my mind. Shaking my head, I begin to freshen up. I take a cold shower to wake myself up from my current state of mind. After I'm done, I put on one of Matteo's robe and step out. Ignoring his stares, I walk to the door. Where are you going with just my robe on? He asks. My room. I say. You are not going out like that. He says. Nobody is outside. Need I remind you that my room is just across from yours? I bravely fight back. Before he could say another word, I quickly open the door and run to my room. I close the door and walk to my closet. I change into a tank top pair with denim shorts. I grab my oversized cardigan and put it on. After I've dressed, I leave my closet. I open my bedroom door and come face to face with Matteo. I gulp. I know I'm in trouble. Before I could say anything, he grabs me and pins me to the wall next to me. He captures my lips in a rough kiss as his hand pins my wrists above my head, and the other caresses my core against my shorts. I moan against our kiss and my legs betray me, but his strong hold on my wrists keeps me from falling. He breaks the kiss and we gasp for air. He leans in and inhales my scent. He's mad, possessive mad. Pull that stunt again and I'll make sure you won't be able to walk for days. Understand? He says huskily. I nod, not allowing my lips to betray me when I open them. He lets me go and finally sees my outfit for the day. You look cute. He comments like he didn't just almost made me beg to make me his again. I chuckle. You're so random. I finally spoke. We leave my room hand in hand as we make our way to the dining room. Upon entering, heads turn to our way. I see Gina smirks and Caitlin beams at our closeness. I clear my throat as we sit down for breakfast. Had fun last night? Gina asks Gina. I exclaim, glaring at her. I notice Caitlin look confused. Gina sees this and her smirk grows wider. They finally made it and marked, she says. Everyone gasps while I turn into a tomato and Matteo rolls his eyes. I can't wait for grandpups. Caitlin exclaims excitedly. Matteo and I choked on our food while Gina laughs out loud. I hear Lance sigh and calms his mate down. I apologize for my mate's outburst just now, Camilla. Lance says it's alright. I stutter. Man, this is gold. Gina says, wiping the tears from her eyes. I throw a glare towards Gina and I know Matteo has threw one at her too. After everyone has calmed down and breakfast is done, Matteo, Gina, and I approach the dungeon where Drea is being held. The heavy door opens with a loud creak and I fight the urge to gag at the rotten smell. We walk down into Drea's holding cell. She stays still even after hearing us come. Hello, Drea. I say. She looks up with a glare. If you're going to kill me, just get it over with, she says. Dear, you don't deserve an easy, quick death. Gina scoffs. She chuckles darkly. I could sense she wanted to say something but decided against it, so instead she glares. While we're still being nice, Drea, tell us who your companions are and where your lair is. Matteo says, what, did your mate forgot where she escaped from? Well, it makes sense. My magic made her forget their names and our location, she says, smirking. I try my best in trying to remember the names and who she's with, but I couldn't remember anything. Drea laughs. This is such a nice turn of events, ain't it? You escaped and had me captive, but you can't remember anything. I growl. You're having fun. Well, it'll be our turn if you don't tell us what we want to know. Over my dead body. She spit. I feel Matteo getting impatient and want to go rip her head off. I grab his hand and gave it a squeeze, signaling him to calm down. Before any of us could say another word, smoke came out of nowhere and blocked our view of Drea. I hear glass breaking and chains dropping. She's escaping. I scream. Gina quickly cast a spell to make the smoke disappear and we see Drea has escaped. I look up at the window and see that rogue smirking. He winks before leaving. We have to stop them. I yell. We start running out as Matteo mind links our warriors. The moment we came out, the guards links back that they're gone and no traces were left behind, not even a scent. Matteo growls out loud in anger as I ball my fist. D26 Drea's POV. Once we're back in our lair, I exerted my last remaining energy into punching Daniel and Jack. You idiots. You had one job and you can't even do it right. I was so close. I scream at them, breathing heavily. It's not my fault now, is it? Daniel keeps visiting her and wanting to touch her so bad. Jack blames the other. She's my mate. How can I not want to touch what's mine? Daniel screams back. I groan in annoyance. What a delusional prick. Enough. Camilla won't remember the way here anymore, but we're still going to relocate our lair. And this time we should have a flawless plan. I am not going down like Onyx did, I say sternly. I cast a spell of self-healing and soon, all my wounds are gone and I feel my energy starting to come back. Before any of them could talk, I shut them up. Don't disturb me. I am in need of a beauty sleep. We will leave once the sun rises, I say and retreat to my room. I will avenge you, sis. I won't disappoint you, I whisper to myself, feeling determined. Then before Camilla's POV, Matteo growls in frustration as he breaks the couch into pieces. Warriors cower in fear and step back, away from my mate's way. How could you have lost them? He growls. We're sorry, Alpha. One of them stutters sorry. He yells. As Matteo is about to break another furniture, I stop him and send the warriors away. They hurriedly leave the office. Matteo. At my calm voice, he drops the chair and slumps down on his chair with a frustrated sigh, massaging his temples. I sit on the arm of his chair and caress his shoulder to calm him down. You have to calm down, Matteo. It's not their fault. Drea is a witch, she must be very experienced to heal partially and escape that quick without a trace. I say calmly, but I'm as enraged as he is. He sighs. You're right. You always are. He says, nodding as he looks up and gives me a tiny smile. I return the smile. Good. I stand to leave, but he pulls me towards him, making me sit on his lap. I gasp, Matteo. Mason is still fuming. He mumbles, burying his nose into my neck. I smile. I adjust myself comfortably on his lap and calm him down. He inhales my scent and visibly calms down. I could feel him and Mason slowly relax. It must have been an hour of us staying like that in silence because a sudden knock on the door snaps us back to reality. I look out the window and notice it's getting dark. Come in, G. Matteo says. Gina opens the door and sees our position. She smirks and closes the door behind her. Am I interrupting something? She asks with a teasing smile on her face. Matteo rolls his eyes and I playfully glare at her. No, you weren't. I say. Gina giggles silently. Anyway, what are we going to do about Drea? She asks as she sits down. Matteo growls lowly at the mention of her name. Nothing. I say. Matteo and Gina looks at me like I'm crazy. What do you mean nothing? She escaped. Who knows what she's going to do next? We need to find her. Gina exclaims. No, we're not going to do anything. We'll wait for her to come to us. When they do, we'll be ready. I say, how sure are you that they'll come back? Matteo asks. Because they want what we have and they'll never rest until they have it. The siblings nod. While we wait for them to come to us, we'll strengthen our warriors in security. Accept pack members who are willing to serve and protect. Most importantly, keep the pack members safe. I'll notify Levi and Kyle right away then. We'll hold a pack meeting later this evening after dinner. Gina says. She nods then heads out first. I turn to Matteo and the look he's giving me feels warm. What? I ask. I should let you take the lead more often. You looked hot just now, he says, smirking. I turn away as my face heats up at his compliment. He tilts my face towards him and he gives me a peck on the lips. You are indeed a great Luna and queen to this community. I am so glad the moon goddess paired you up with me. You are all mine. Took you long enough to realize. I tease as I punch his chest lightly. He fakes a wince. I giggle. A smile rests on my face at his touching words. I close the gap between us and kiss him. He immediately responds and deepens it. When we pull away, I rest my forehead against his. Thank you. I whisper. He smiles and hugs me tighter. And we stay like that until dinner time. After dinner was finished, we all gather in the pack's auditorium. The pack members whisper amongst themselves as to why there's a pack meeting late in the evening. Once Matteo and I step into the stage, the room quiets down and waits patiently for us to speak. Red Moon, it is great to see all of you here tonight despite the sudden news about this meeting. As you all may or may not know, your Luna Queen was kidnapped for a week and an impostor was with us and disguised as your queen. You may or may not have spoken to the impostor, and I would personally ask you to forgive her as your queen wasn't the one being selfish and rude to you. It was the impostor. Now that my mate has been officially announced as your Luna Queen, she wears the Luna crown and ring that now glows ruby red. You can easily identify your true Luna Queen. This crown and ring will only glow ruby red when she wears it. That's how you'll know it's the real Luna Queen. Matteo says. The crowd murmurs. Matteo holds up his hand and once again the room grows quiet. The impostor was imprisoned but has escaped recently. We will do everything we can to ensure this pack's safety. But we ask of you to not run near the borders for the time being. Warriors, starting today, you will train from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Border guards, you will also be training at the same time slots but on Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. You will have your own schedules. Beta Levi and Delta Kyle will be distributing those to you soon. More of this will be discussed and clarified tomorrow at the training field. As for the others, please remain calm and don't do anything foolish. Don't you dare go against my commands. This is for your and this pack's safety. If any of you would be willing to fight and protect this pack, please stay behind after this meeting. If no one has any questions, you may leave. The crowd stands and bows then leaves, leaving about 350 members willing to be a warrior. Page 27. Camilla's POV. It has been a few weeks since Matteo's announcement. Our warriors and border guards have been training diligently and so far, no one has caused any problems. While Matteo's busy with his alpha duties, I've been busy with my Luna duties. It also has been weeks since we've seen each other and got intimate, or even just spend time with each other. Mom and Dad have been visiting frequently to come see how I'm doing and spend some time with Caitlin and Lance. I'm currently with my Beta and Delta, Gina and Haley, discussing pack things related to the elderly, women, children's school, and the clinic things to improve and help them feel safe after the announcement. Haley groans as she stretches her legs and then slumps on her chair. Gina chuckles at her. All right, let's take a small break. I finally say thank the moon goddess. I've been waiting for you to say that for the past 2 hours. My back is killing me. Haley groans. I roll my eyes at my best friend and close the folder. The three of us leave my office and out of the pack house. With me in the middle, we start walking around the packland and feeling the fresh afternoon air. I smile as the cool air hits me gently. Parker would love this feeling right now, the cool air hitting you. Haley says. I smile, I miss him. I wonder how he's doing. We stop at a cafe for a coffee and dessert break. We enter and the people inside greet us with a bow and a hello. We order our drinks and food, and then receive them after a few minutes. The three of us walk towards to the park and watch the children play while we eat and drink. Watching the pups play with each other made me smile and want a few of my own. I imagine a little Matteo or a little me running around the mansion or my office as I get work done, spending time with their grandparents, or even just bonding with my pup on the afternoon as we stroll around the garden. Of course, I don't want one right now since there is a war, and I don't want my pup to be in danger. Gina and Haley express how they also want one of their own. We joke around about how Haley would probably be the first mom between the three of us. After the break, we walk back to my office. On our way back, I hear someone call for my attention. I turn around and see Aspen. I turn to the girls and they roll or narrow their eyes in suspicion. Yes. I want to talk to you about something. Alone, she says. I turn to the girls and nod, signaling them to go ahead. What is it that you want to talk about? I ask. You are not my Luna or a Luna queen. She says nonchalantly, looking at her bright nail polish. Excuse me. You're excused. I don't care what our former alpha said about Matteo finally finding his mate in another pack. I am his mate and I've been robbed of my title because of you. Oh, we have another delusional mutt in our hands. Carla says, rolling her eyes. What makes you think you're Matteo's? I ask, hiding a little smile from what Carla had said. Because we've dated before. She says like it's a solid fact. Dated. I scoff a little. He doesn't trust anyone but his family. How could he date you? You don't think I know, she says. She smirks and comes close to my face. We've slept together and let me tell you he drills me real good. She whispers. I growl at her disrespect and attempt to make me jealous. How dare this slut talk to us this way? Carla says, fuming. I smile sweetly at her. You may have slept with my mate, but who did he end up with? Her smirk drops and she glares at me. I move closer to her ear and whisper, you can try your damn best in getting into my head that my Matteo hooked up with you before and convince those around you that you are the destined Luna. But who's the Luna queen now? The crown and ring don't lie. I move away and see her fuming. I smirk. I recompose my composure and smile sweetly. See you around, dear. I say and walk away. As I walk back to my office, I was silently raging. I know my facts and I'm sure Matteo didn't sleep or dated anyone other than Jess. But since Carla is my other half, I was fuming with possessiveness and jealousy. Nighttime came and I'm waiting for Matteo to come back. I'm a bit calmer than earlier since I had some time to talk to Carla. I sit on the bed as I wait for Matteo. Meanwhile, I tell Carla to let me handle it and not to intervene no matter how possessive and how much she felt jealous and angry. 2 hours later, the door opens and Matteo sees me on the bed with arms crossed. He sighs. What is it, love? I can feel your emotions since earlier. He says, oh really? He felt what we're feeling yet he didn't bother to stop what he's doing and come check on us. Carla growls. Carla, calm down. I tell her. I look back at Matteo again. I stand up and walk towards him, standing a few feet away. Is there something you should have told me? I ask, giving him a chance to tell me himself if ever it was true. His eyebrows furrow as he thinks. He looks back at me and shakes his head. I raise an eyebrow. Love, what is it? Just tell me what's bothering you. He says gently, touching my arms and caressing them. Tell you. Okay, I'll tell you, you liar. Carla growls. Carla comes forward and takes over half of my being. By now my left eye color would change to hers. She made me shrug off his hands. Carla now controls what I say and how I act. Her anger is so strong that I can't take back control. Tell me, love, did something happen between you and that she-wolf slut Aspen? I asked her 28. Camilla's POV. Tell me, love, did something happen between you and that she-wolf slut Aspen? I ask. Aspen, this is what it's about. Love, you have nothing to worry about. It wasn't like how she said it happened. Nothing to worry about. So something did happen. Tell me the truth. I yell. I could feel Matteo slowly start to lose his patience. Carla, don't Cammy. What truth do you want? I already told you it was nothing like how she said it. We never slept together and I never touched her. She was the one who'd always try something to get me to sleep with her. I swear on the moon goddess, love, nothing ever happened. Stop lying. She told me she slept with you before me. Maybe even before Jess. Matteo growls warningly. You better watch what you say, mate. And remember who you are speaking to. Carla chuckles sarcastically as I gulp. You know what? You're never going to tell me the truth anyway. I'll ask Gina myself. For tonight you can sleep by yourself because I can't even sleep in the same bed as you. I growl lowly before I could storm past him. Matteo grabs me and pins me to the wall beside him. I growl, frustrated. Let me go. I demand. Matteo growls, don't make me lose my patience, mate. Your patience? I don't care if you lose yours because I lost mine already. I yell, squirming. In a flash, Matteo had me pinned down on the bed. As I squirm, he leans down and leaves kisses on my neck, nibbling on the mark he left. I stop squirming and shiver. Carla has lost control and her anger turned into desire and lust. I immediately took back control. Matteo. I call. He doesn't stop. With his one hand on my wrists, he uses the other and tore my clothes off my body. I gasp. Before I could say anything, I let out another gasp as he attacks my core. He comes up and inserts his fingers in me as he looks at my face. Matteo. I beg. He leans down as he goes faster. I told you not to make me lose my patience. Now I'll make you scream for me all night. He whispers huskily. Once he's done, he flips me over and inserts his length in me. He starts thrusting in a quick pace. I scream and groan in pain and pleasure. I could feel my insides building up quick and ready to release. He goes faster and deeper, and soon we both release our juices and collapse on the bed. But he wasn't done. Like he said, he made me scream all night. The next morning I wake up feeling sore. Matteo went at me hard last night and it was all because of Carla going hysterical over what Aspen said, but I don't blame her. It also had been a while since Matteo and I had an intimate moment. Both of us had been so busy that we haven't had a time for ourselves. I open my eyes and look to my left. Matteo's still sleeping. I move slightly closer and leave kisses on his face, and then on his lips. Seconds later, I feel his lips respond and it turns heated. We pull away to breathe. Good morning, love. He says good morning. I smile. I'm sorry for last night. Carla had most control and she was upset about what that she-wolf said. I know it's okay. I missed you. I say me too. He says. We stay in bed cuddling for a few more minutes before we go back to our duties. It's been a week since our intense night and lately, I've been craving for more food than usual and I've been moody. Gina and Haley had a crazy idea that I may be pregnant, but it's not possible because I know Matteo was safe that night. But there was an inner voice telling me that Matteo might not have won because of the anger he felt. With all the what-ifs, I just couldn't wait until later tonight to ask him. This was urgent. I leave Gina and Haley and tell them I need to speak to Matteo. I hurriedly walk to Matteo's office. I open the door without knocking and see he was in the middle of a meeting with the border guards. Leave us. I command. What are you doing? We're in the middle of a meeting. Matteo says, feeling a little annoyed due to my disrespect. Leave. Now. I growl. The border guards hurriedly leave the room. I shut the door and march to Matteo as he stands up in rage. What the hell do you think you're doing? He asks angrily. Shut up. I will be the one asking questions here. Matteo looks stunned at my sudden attitude. He knows I was one who was gentle and respectful. Tell me, were you safe that night you and I were intimate? Did you wear one? His furrowed eyebrows separate and looks at me carefully. He lets out a sigh. No. I nod as I slowly look away from him. That means it might be true, I might be pregnant. And as if to fully confirm our guesses, I felt like vomiting. I ran quickly to the bathroom and released the vomit into the toilet. Oh my goddess. I hear Matteo say as he comes in. He holds my hair as more vomit comes up and out of me. I stand up and walk to the sink to rinse my mouth. I'm pregnant. I look up and he stares, for minutes, and I don't know what he's thinking. Before I snap him back to reality, he engulfs me in a hug. We're gonna have a pup. He whispers. I smile happily. I hug him back. Yes, yes we are. I say, wiping a happy tear that escapes at 29. Camilla's POV. The next day, Matteo and I take the day off from our duties and visit the pack doctor to fully confirm our guesses and check to see what's happening inside my belly. Dr. Melanie begins to check my belly using the monitor. After a few seconds, the room echoes of a steady heartbeat. She turns to us with a smile. Congratulations, Your Majesties, you are right. You're pregnant and have a healthy baby. Matteo and I turn to each other with a grin. How big is our baby? For now, your baby is the size of a donut. By the end of this month, your baby bump will be noticeable. She tells us as she cleans my belly from the gel she applied. We nod happily. We leave the hospital excitedly talking about the baby, who it'd look like the most, and who it'd take after. After dinner, I call my parents and tell them to come over with Ben because I have something exciting to tell them. That day soon came and I prepared a special lunch for the happy occasion. My parents and Ben finally arrived and we all sit on the long table to have lunch. My mom keeps giving me glances like she knows what I'm going to announce. Hell, I'm sure everyone can smell it from me. After lunch, we all gather around the garden for some dessert and tea. I stand, finally ready to announce my pregnancy. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sure you can all sense what I'm going to announce. I say happily. They turn their heads to me, a smile already on their faces. Matteo and I are pregnant. They all break out in cheers and congratulations were heard. Ben, however, was nothing but frowning in disapproval. Ben quietly leaves the group and goes back inside. I worriedly follow after. I get inside and see my brother grabbing a drink from the table with a heavy sigh. Benny. I quietly call him. Tell me it isn't really his Camilla. He says. My eyebrows furrow and it was now my turn to frown in disapproval. Out of all people, I thought my brother would be the happiest for me. He was there when I was suffering from being far from my mate. He was the one who told me to go with Kyle to be with my mate. Don't be ridiculous, Ben, of course it's his. Aren't you happy for me? I want a Cam. I really do. But I just can't when you are mated to him. What's that supposed to mean? You were the one who told me to go with Kyle so it'd end my suffering. He sighs. I know, Cam, but he is not who you think he is. And just because I told you to go be with your mate doesn't mean I approve of this. Maybe the moon goddess made a mistake. He says, whispering the last sentence. The moon goddess don't make mistakes and you know that, Ben. I say, anger and disappointment building up. If he isn't who I think he is, then tell me who he really is, Ben. I say. Carla was now growling in anger as well. Ben's mouth open and close. This angers me more because it seemed to me that he just didn't want to be happy for me and he's finding for an excuse. Let me tell you who he is, Ben. I start. Matteo is my mate who is not a monster all of you perceive him to be. He is my mate who learned how to love and trust me despite his past. Deep down and behind his cold facade, he is a kind-hearted man. Love. My ears perk up as I hear his voice, calm wash over me. It took a few blinks for me to realize I'm right in front of my brother, and was just glaring at him. Ben, who was looking guilty, was looking at me apologetically, and that made me realize it was his wolf who didn't want to be supportive. I sigh before Matteo could come and calm me down. I sprint out of there, ignoring the calls from my mate. Matteo's POV. I growl when I couldn't keep up with my mate. Since she's pregnant, she's more faster than me. I turn back and go towards Ben. Levi and Kyle already holding me back as if they sensed me. What did you tell my mate? I shout. My conversation with my sister doesn't concern you. Ben growls. Matt, calm down. It's almost midnight and Camilla is alone. Levi tells me. Just hearing my mate's name calmed me a little. I huff angrily and leave the room. I march out and see our parents looking at me worriedly. Don't worry, I'll find her. I say before taking off. I shift to my wolf form and Mason pushes harder to run faster while following our mate's scent. Suddenly I felt a mix of fear, protectiveness and anger. Mason runs faster, fearing for what might happen to our mate based from her feelings. Soon we found Camilla still in her human form, but she has a protective hand over her belly and we hear Carla's growl. Mason jumps in front of Camilla and growls at the rogue that just stepped back from shock. That's the rogue that planned the escape for Drea. Mason growls. Mason lets out a growl as the rogue's shocked face slowly turns into a grin. Well, 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 look who we have here. He starts, I finally have the power couple in front of me. You both are making this too easy for me. He laughs. Matteo, whatever you do, don't attack. Him coming here might be trapped, don't let him get to you. Camilla mind-links me. Oh, mind-linking now, are we? He chuckles. Well then, I believe I've overstayed my welcome. I'll be back for you, my queen, and you too, your majesty. With a maniacal laugh, he disappears into thin air, scent untraceable. Mason growls frustratedly as we can't trace him because he was dripping with Drea's spell. I shift back and turn around to face Camilla. Her eyes close shut as if getting ready for me to scream at her for outrunning me. I sigh as Mason whimpers. I pull my mate into a hug and rub her back comfortingly. Let's go back home, I say, and she nods. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Matteo is found by Camilla with Aspen in the office. What is really going on behind this? How will Camilla respond? What really happened between Matteo and Aspen? Subscribe to the channel to uncover the truth. 30 Camilla's POV. After the encounter with the rogue, I've had sleepless nights. I don't know what was wrong. I don't know if I couldn't sleep from fear for my baby and my pack or what he told me. Get ready for the best day of your life, my queen, because that day is coming soon and I can't wait to take over and rule as king and with you as my queen. This time we are going to see through it that it's a success. Count your remaining days, my queen. I will be back for you. I can still hear him say those words like it has been tattooed on my mind. I tried to shake it off, but it just keeps coming back as nightmares. It has also been few weeks since I last spoke to my brother. We ended on a bad note and I hated that we left it at that. Carla and Brian, his wolf, were also too angry to talk properly. I tried to call a few times to mend things and talk it through, but each time ended with Carla and Brian taking full control and hanging up after a screaming match. I've tried talking to Carla, but she'd shut me out right after. It was now a new month and my belly is noticeable, like I've just stuffed a small teddy bear in there. 3 months and 29 days left and I'll be giving birth to a healthy baby. The pack also had congratulated me after our announcement. It has been weeks of buzzing excitement about our baby, and about how the pack will finally have an heir. Well, everyone except Aspen. Matteo and I have also took a day off after the announcement to buy things for our baby. Currently, I'm resting after doing my Luna duties and Matteo has been with me for 3 hours now. My hormones have been all over the place, but everyone has been nothing but patient with me. Matteo and I were just talking when suddenly my mind overwhelms me negatively. Hey, what's wrong? Matteo asks, looking at me with concern. Matteo, what if I'm not ready for this baby? I mean, yeah, I'm excited, but I never thought I'd be a mother this early. I ramble, baby. And what if I turn out to be a bad mother? Or it dies with complications right after it comes out of me? I was now breathing heavily with anxiousness. Hey, breathe. Cam, breathe with me, okay? Matteo says softly. I follow Matteo's breathing and soon I've calmed down. Okay, good. He says, listen, you will be a great mother, okay? You have nothing to worry about because you've got me and both of our moms here with you every step of the way. Our baby is going to come out alive, healthy and beautiful. Matteo says as he soothes me with back rubs. I sigh out and nod. Okay. He says quietly. As he continues to rub my back, I soon slip into a deep nap. 2 months and 3 days later. Camilla's POV. I officially have a big baby bump, and next month is my due date. Matteo and our friends have been with me throughout my pregnancy, while Matteo and the guys have been leading our warriors and guards in an intense training for a war that's soon to come. It could happen anytime and I just hope it doesn't happen while I'm still pregnant. Adding to the intense training, Matteo has also called upon other packs to fight with us against Drea and her companions. In the last 3 months they have wiped out half of the packs in the country, a total of 12 packs in 3 months. All those who survived, they were forced to join Drea or else they die. The girls and I have also been busy with procedures when the war breaks out. We've prepared a shelter for the women and children and provided emergency essentials. Gina has also laced it with magic so that the rogues won't be able to track it. The girls has also accompanied me to the clinic today as it is my last day for my checkup, to see how my baby is doing in there. Melanie does the procedures and soon we hear a heartbeat, and then another. I turn to Melanie and see her shocked. Dread soon wash over me. Melanie, what is it? Is something wrong? I ask worriedly. Wrong. No, Your Majesty. She trails off. You're actually having twins. She exclaims happily. What? The three of us exclaim in sync. Yes. Look. Here is baby one, the one that we've been seeing, and here is baby two. She says excitedly as she points at the monitor. I have twins. I trail off. But why did we just see and hear baby two now? Has the baby been there the whole time? Haley asks. Yes, baby one has probably been hiding its twin from us, or baby two is just shy and has been hiding from us. Melanie smiles. This is such great news. Cam, I'm so happy for you. Gina say happily as she hugs me. I can't believe it. I have twins. I can't wait to. An alarm cuts me off and panic replaces my excitement. The girls gasps and we all know what that alarm meant. They're here. No, they can't be. Cam. Baby. Where are you? Matteo mind-links me. I'm still at the clinic. Matt, please tell me it's not happening already. I reply, I wish it isn't, love. Matteo. Don't worry, love. I'll protect you and our baby. I focus on my breathing and soon I've calmed down. I am their Queen Luna and right now they need guidance. With one last breath out, I open my eyes and determination runs through me. Nobody is going to hurt my pack. I say they will be at my mercy if they do. Carla growls. I look at the three women and start instructing them on what to do. Each of them nod and start moving. Melanie cleans me up and goes to gather all the medical staff and patients in the clinic while Gina and Haley mind-link the women and children to carefully meet them at the clinic, since the shelter is closer from here. Soon they all came unscathed and we all go into hiding. That's everyone, Your Majesty. Haley says good. Make sure nobody goes in or out. Yes, Your Majesty. They both say. I look around and don't see Caitlin. Gina, where's Mom? I ask. She looks around and panics. She tries to mind-link her but shakes her head. I can't reach her. Gina says calmly, but I know she's internally panicking and as the Queen Luna, I knew what to do. I pull Gina into a hug. She hugs me back tightly, feeling scared and worried for our mother. Before Gina knows it, I quickly pull away and leave the shelter, locking them all inside. I shift and then run to where Caitlin might be. As your Luna Queen, I command all of you to remain quiet. No one makes a sound or even try to break out of this shelter. I mind-link the women and children and then I block them out. Gina, Haley as my Beta and Delta. I expect you to act as one while I'm out here. Don't you dare disobey my command. Keep them safe and I will be okay. I mind-link them both. Drea, you will meet your end. I will make sure of it. 31 Matteo's POV. Levi, Kyle, and I are discussing in my office when suddenly, my doors burst open and in comes Zach. What is the meaning of this disrespect? I growl. I deeply apologize, Your Majesty, but the rogues. They're here. He hurriedly says. Levi and Kyle shoot up from their seats. What? Ring the alarms. Levi instructs while Kyle mind-links the pack. He nods and runs out. Soon the alarm sounds loudly. I mind-link my mate and ask where she is as I felt her fear. Relief washes over me as I learn she's still in the clinic, closer to the shelter. I feel our boarder's energy wave and it could only mean that they just stepped into my land. Mason and I growl. Nobody steps into my land without our permission. Mason growls, let's go. It's time to end them all once and for all. I say darkly. Levi and Kyle growls in agreement as they follow me out of my office. We ran to where the rogues have entered and there, we see two male rogues leading the rest into my land. I'd stop walking in any further if I were you. I say, Mason's voice mixing with mine. The rogue grins as he sees me as the other smiles smugly. Finally. The king has arrived. I was beginning to think you're getting ready to raise the white flag. He says, chuckling. I look at him nonchalantly as the warriors growl at him. Oh, you would look at that, your dogs are growling at me. You might want to put on their muzzles. They're only growling at you because you have trespassed our land without my permission. I should have gave your alpha the permission to kill you off when he suggested. I say. His usual cynical maniac grin turned into a sneer and it was now my turn to smirk. Oh, did I hit a nerve? The only nerve that's going to be hit is yours with my canines. He growls. I bark out a laugh and return to my usual cold facade. Try and get me, mutt. Wipe them all out. I shout, not so fast, Your Majesty. Everyone stops and out comes Drea. Her red wavy hair is now white and straight. Long time no see, Alpha. Don't you recognize me? She chuckles. How could it be? Levi whispers. Alpha, you remember asking me who my companions are, right? Well, here they are. Meet Daniel and Jack, your old friend. And of course you remember Onyx, don't you? She is the one who trained me after all, my sister who you killed brutally. She says. A hard glare sent my way, and just like a puzzle, everything connected. Why Jack seemed familiar to me, why Drea and Jack came back after years of silence, and the revenge that Onyx promised me as her death wish. Drea and her companions is the revenge that Onyx was talking about. Seeing the surprise that slipped from my face, Drea smirks. Oh good, you remember my dear sister. Too bad she's gone, she would have loved this reunion. She signs, faking sadness. You think avenging your sister and her committed crimes is going to succeed. Your sister was greedy for power and turned one of my people against me. If you are here for revenge for your sister's crimes, then you are as low as her. I snap. She glares. She closes her eyes and soon she's levitating. She opens her eyes again and is now glowing white. Tack. That one word had the rogues start charging. Don't hold back. Kill off every last one of them. I shout. Warriors and guards all start shifting into their wolf forms and attack. Levi and Kyle goes after Jack as I shift into my wolf form. Just then I felt fear and pain. My love. I mind link my mate. When she doesn't answer back, I turn around and run to where I can smell her. Camilla's POV. I shift back into my human form and throw on the first clothing piece I see. I enter our house and call out to Caitlin. Carla lends me her nose and I try to sniff her out. My ears perks up as I smell a faint scent of Caitlin. I race to where she is and end up in her closet. I open the door and see her hiding deep into her clothes. Mom. Call out. Caitlin looks up and sees me. Relief replaces her fearful state. She comes out and hugs me. Cam. She says, relieved. What are you doing here? Didn't you get Gina's message? I ask. She shakes her head. I was too scared. I nod. Let's get you to safety. I say. As we leave her room, I smell him before I could see him. I push Caitlin behind me as I see Daniel smirking. Hi baby. He greets Cam. Who is that? Caitlin asks. Nobody important. I say and Daniel glares. His eyes snap down to my belly and he growls loudly. You are mine. He shouts. He comes to get me but I dodge and run out of the hall with Caitlin. Mom, go through the secret passage to the shelter in Gina's closet. You'll be safe. What about you? I can't leave you here with that lunatic. I'll be okay. Go. She looks at me hesitantly, not wanting to leave without me. Camilla. We hear Daniel's roar. Go. I'll be right behind you. I say hurriedly. She then nods. She runs to Gina's room as I turn around, just in time to see a fuming Daniel. He takes slow, dangerous steps towards me, breathing heavily. You are not pregnant, you can't be. How dare you cheat on me? Your mate. He shouts. You are not my mate, Daniel. When will you get it through your thick head? You are mine because I chose you. I rejected mine for you. I thought you would have the decency to do the same, but imagine my disappointment when you didn't and got knocked up by him. That's because unlike you, I'm not crazily blinded with lust. The moon goddess gave you someone perfect and you reject her for me. I never asked you to do that and I never wanted you anyway. I bark. This seemed to push all of his buttons because in a flash he's right in front of me. You're about to regret saying that. He sneers and then grins maniacally. All my anger and disgust are replaced by fear as he squeezes my shoulders tightly. He's 32. Camilla's POV. My eyes widen as I see Daniel's crazed look on his face. He pushes me into a room and has me pinned on the bed. Fear washes over me as I realize what he's about to do. If I can't have you and you don't want me, then that monstrous mutt don't get to have you or this baby either. He says, grinning crazily as his button is now undone and pants tossed aside. I squirm to get out of his hold, but this only had him tighten it. You're not getting away from me this easily, not anymore. My love. My mate mind links me. Suddenly, Daniel growls angrily. Don't answer his mind link. For God's sake, you're with me. Slamming his hand onto the headboard, breaking it. My eyes widen in shock. How did I know? He laughs. Drea's magic is truly magnificent. She casted a spell on Jack and I to be able to read mind links. You weren't supposed to know that, but it doesn't matter now, does it? He says, squeezing my breast painfully. He grins insanely first before plunging his length into me. I scream in horror as he just violated me, and he knows this is a way to kill my unborn pups. Maybe I can have her cast a spell on you too, and make you love me once and for all. He says seductively as he thrusts once more. He barks out a loud laugh. I'm going to enjoy this, he says, amusement in his eyes with a hint of anger and hatred. He begins to pick up his pace and I summon all my remaining strength to push him away. But my body doesn't cooperate with me. It responds with his thrusts, and at that moment I felt dirty and disgusting. How could my body cooperate with this deranged lunatic? Oh, would you look at that, your body wants me, he says, laughing as he goes faster and deeper. No. Stop. I scream as tears keep falling. Just then the door bursts open and I smell my mate's overpowering scent. Colors drain from my face as I see him with pure black eyes, looking murderous and out for blood. Daniel's blood. Daniel turns to look at my mate and his grin widens. Enjoy watching me devour her, your majesty. He laughs. You stole her from me after all, it's your turn to suffer. Before Daniel could release, Matteo ran like lightning and pulls Daniel off of me by the neck. He slams Daniel's whole body on the floor over and over again as I lay there still in shock. Nobody touches what is mine. Matteo, heavily laced with Mason's voice, angrily say as he slams Daniel on the floor on each word. On the final slam, I heard Matteo snap Daniel's neck. Daniel was now a bloody pulp and unmoving. He's dead. That crazy lunatic who assaulted me is finally dead and out of my life. Matteo released him from his claws, still breathing heavily. Meanwhile, I'm too scared to move or to breathe. What if he kills me too? He walked in on me with Daniel on top of me. He must be hurt. His trust on me must be broken. He probably doesn't want me more. Carla whines at that thought. After what felt like forever, Matteo finally turns to me. His black-filled eyes that was out for blood was now his normal blue-green eyes with Mason's dark red eyes. His eyes meet mine and almost suddenly, I can feel him feeling all the things I felt when Daniel was on top of me. Baby, he says softly as he comes and hugs me tight. I'm sorry. Please don't leave me. I cry. My tears fell harder and faster after the adrenaline and shock left my body. How could you say that? I'm never leaving you. What happened wasn't your fault and I know it. I trust you enough to know it wasn't your fault. I could feel everything you felt, remember? He says gently. But my body. I trailed off. I swear I didn't want it. I didn't like it. I cry. I know you don't, my love. I know, he says as he calms me down. Matteo was known to have trust issues, mostly on women. That's the only reason why his pack is the strictest and strongest pack out there. To have him eventually warm up to me and trust me is beyond me, but I'm so happy that he did. He pulls away and looks at me. I just know he's calmer now. I love you, I say. He stands still, his eyes widen in shock. What did you say? He asks quietly. I love you. I repeat. His stilled face breaks into the biggest smile as he captures my lips in a loving kiss. I kiss him back and pull him closer. He breaks away and rests his forehead onto mine. I love you too, he whispers, and I smile. Roars were heard and we break away. Matteo and I share a knowing nod and resume to our leadership duties. We run out of the room and out to the field. I hear Matteo's commands as we run in our wolf form to the war. Once we've arrived, the scene was horrifying. It doesn't make sense that we're losing. I hear Matteo command them to fall back and they did. The warriors come running to us and protect us with a defensive stance. Drea levitates to us with a laugh. You didn't think I would let you win easily, did you? The rogue's eye shifts to me and his grin widens. Hello, your majesty. I did warn, didn't I? You will soon be mine. Matteo growls at that and the rogue smirks. Let me reintroduce myself to my future partner since the barrier made you forget who I am when you escaped. He says, I'm Jack and your partner to be. He says, smirking. 33 Camilla's POV. Carla and I shudder in disgust. Well, I don't think we have any other pleasantries left to say. It's time to end you all once and for all. Drea says, imagine that. The strongest and strictest royal pack of this generation is about to be a shame and embarrassment, and I have the honor to end you all. Drea laughs. Drea, Jack, and their rogue pack come circling around us as I speak up before anyone could do anything. Red Moon, don't use your mind links because it'll be useless. They can hear our mind links. I say. Drea's smirk falls and it replaces with a scowl. I bet you already know how I found out. I say. You have a very useless minion, Drea. He told me all your secrets before his very last breath. I smirk. He is useless indeed. That's why I'm glad you decided to kill him off for me. Drea says, acting nonchalant though I could see she's bothered. I'll admit you caught us by surprise. But do you remember what I told you on your Luna ceremony? I ask. She waits for me to finish, glaring. You'll never beat me, Drea. Even when you start to think you can beat me and kill me off, you've already lost. I'm not like any other she-wolf. Drea scoffs. That's really lame of you to say, Camilla. This isn't some TV show, this is real life and you're going to die, she says. She advances towards me with a hiss and grabs me by my neck. Camilla. Luna. They all scream for me as Drea holds me up in the air, grinning crazily. I should have known you are the key. The only thing holding this pack sane and alive is you. She says now it's time for me to do the honor of taking out their sole purpose to live a happy life. Because nobody else deserves to be happy if I'm not happy with mine. She draws her right hand back and channels her magic. A ball of black dark magic appears and increases in size, but before she could kill me, a ball of light hits her right in the chest and she lets me go with a groan. Matteo catches me as I cough and gasp for air. Are you okay? My mate asks me. I nod my head as I catch my breath. I look up and don't see Drea in the air but on the floor clutching her chest, breathing heavily. Someone walks up beside us and the scent tells me it's Gina. My eyes trail to her and I see her burning with rage and determination. Your days are over, Drea. Surrender or I'll gladly take your powers away forever. Drea laughs breathily. You. A mere smelly dog is going to take the magic of the most powerful dark witch of this land. Please don't kid yourself. You are just a practicing witch, dog. Let the real witches handle magic. Drea tries to stand but she stumbles and falls. Gina smirks. I guess this practicing witch is actually more powerful and experienced than you think. That's not possible. You don't know anything about witch magic. Oh, but my mentor does and she's a counsel in your community. Gina says, smirking. A powerful presence comes closer and soon we see an elderly woman standing beside Gina, who looks disappointedly at Drea. Drea's eyes widen in shock. Granny. Don't embarrass the family name any further, Drea. I can't believe you would stoop down to your sister's level and fight the wolves. They killed my sister, Granny. What am I supposed to do? Your sister had it coming. She was foolish and power-hungry. She fought with our wolf friends and she had to pay. Drea's eyes were now filled with confusion and anger. She didn't deserve to die. And these wolves were never our friends because they attacked my sister first. Her grandmother sighs in disappointment. You are so loyally blind, following and believing everything your sister tells you. The royal family and the wolf community has been our friends for eons. Your sister lied to you. She lied about everything. Don't be stupid, Drea. You are a smart girl with a lot of opportunities in our community. Drea shakes her head. She screams in frustration and it seems like she broke free from Gina's hold. No. My sister isn't a liar. She would never lie to me. You are the one who's fooling me. Onyx told me you'd lie and deceive me. Now I'm going to avenge my sister and kill these monsters. Drea snaps to me and comes running. Before she could reach me, a bubble appears and locks her in. She stops and looks around. I'm sorry, my dear, but this is the only way to stop you. Her grandmother says. Drea looks to her grandmother with wide, terrified eyes. She bangs on the bubble to break free as her grandmother starts chanting. Soon the bubble is filled with smoke and soon after Drea's painful screams and then it was over in minutes. Her grandmother sighs sadly as the bubble disappears slowly. The smoke floats up and with one snap of her finger it was gone. Now Drea lies unconscious on the floor and looking different than her usual self. Her wavy red hair was now blonde. Her once pale skin was now the normal color. Her red lips was now normal pink. Even her outfit has changed into a beige, long dress with one sleeveless strap. What happened to her? I ask. I've stripped her off of magic. She's now a human and would be living amongst us. Her grandmother says. She turns to us with an apologetic look. I apologize for my granddaughter's behavior and the trouble they caused you. Drea looked up and grew up with Onyx as her role model. You would see how and why she behaved that way. It was my fault for not taking her in when I had the chance. Anyway, your royalties, I hope you could pardon her as she won't be a thorn on your side anymore. I will also personally give her the punishment she deserves. Matteo looks to Drea's unmoving body. I really hope she won't cause any more trouble. Oh, she won't. I will make sure of it. She says, well then, I hope we can still repair the friendship my granddaughters have destroyed. We'll see. She nods. She takes her leave with the man carrying Drea away. I look back at the rogues and notice the size has doubled down. What was left was now the hungry-driven rogues. With Matteo's command, the warriors easily and quickly killed them off. Your Majesties. We turn around and see Levi and Kyle holding up Jack. This one tried to escape. What should we do with him, Your Majesty? Levi asks. You know what we do with trespassers and who attempts treason. Matteo says. They smirk as Jack screams for mercy. 34 Drea's POV. I wake up groaning. My whole body aches like I just went on an intense workout for hours. My eyes open and I look around the room I'm in. I sense something familiar about it. The door opens and I see a lady dressed like a maid. I eye her carefully as she navigates around the room. Soon I feel a powerful aura coming closer. The door opens more and I look over to see it's my grandmother. Gran. My voice comes out hoarse. Ah, you're awake. She says, where am I? I ask. I glance over to the lady still minding her business. And who is she? Grandmother look over and then back at me. She looks at me dead in the eyes and said, you are back home and this is your room. She is your roommate. Her name is Otis. What? What about my room? Your room. She scoffs. Your old room has been long gone. You have no room here other than this. I was confused and enraged. How could she? To her own granddaughter. Why are you doing this? I ask calmly. All right, you have no recollection yet about what happened. You are being punished until the day you die. I have you stripped off of your witch rights for countlessly violating the treaty we have written and agreed with the wolves. Not only that, but you also attempted treason and ruined multiple homes in the wolves community. You are now a human, hence why you feel sore everywhere. You no longer hold a high title in our community and will be a maid. No one will treat you like a princess you once were, and you will not get any special treatment from anyone. You are ruined and you brought this upon yourself the day you decided to follow your sister's footsteps. My eyes widen. I feel lifeless. How could my life turn into this? No, I can't be a mere maid in the community I once have power over. You can't do this to me, Gran. Please, I'm sorry. I stutter. Tears started to form instead of feeling anger. I felt empty. I lost a huge part of who I am. Too bad I already did. You should have known better. But then again, it was my fault for not being the grandmother I should have been to you. I didn't look for you hard enough after your sister took you from my care. I hope you're still my granddaughter in the next life so that I could watch over you better than this life. Grandmother wipes her tears before they fall as she leaves. My tears have already fallen and are still falling. I'm ruined and it's entirely my fault. In my next life, I hope I don't have Onyx as my sister and I have a peaceful life instead. It's tiring to feel angry and be the villain all the time. Camilla's POV. It's all finally over. Rogues have been killed. Drea lost her power and right as a witch, and Jack was tortured before taking his last breath. It's all over. We have months to help rebuild the pack's destroyed homes back to what it once was, but for now, we gladly welcome the ones who wants to join our pack, and today's the ceremony for that. In total, we have 130 new pack members to welcome officially. I've also told Matteo about the baby surprise I found out during my last checkup, and he was thrilled. He couldn't wait to have our pups out of me and spend most of his time with them. Thankfully, my water broke last week and I gave birth to 2 beautiful, healthy babies. A baby boy named Zion and a baby girl named Zoe. When my parents heard the news, they came rushing over and have been obsessed with them ever since. Tonight, as I act and look over the event as the Queen Luna, my parents gladly watch over my pups. I huff out the nervousness I feel as Gina gives a final touch to my hair. She grins proudly at her work as I give her a little wink as a thank you. Soon, guests fill up our newly renovated ballroom and it's even spacious than before. I walk up the stage and welcome everyone for coming and start off the event with a speech. I hand over the mic to my mate, and he takes it with a smile. After officially welcoming the new members, the party starts. Wolves go around eating and acquaint themselves. Soon the party comes to an end. I stand by the door to greet the guests goodbye. I sigh happily as I just finished the event I organized successfully. I mind-link my mate to ask where he is, but strangely, I can't reach him and I suddenly have a sinking feeling. Don't think of the worst just yet, Cam. Carla tells me. I calm myself with breathing as I sniff out where he might be. After what felt like hours, I find him behind his table in his office in the pack house. I sigh in relief. Meanwhile, Carla is telling me something in rage. Matteo, what are you doing here? I ask. He sighs but shakes his head as if to say nothing. I hold out my hand for him to hold. He leaves his table and comes to hold my hand. We walk out of his office and into the mansion. He doesn't waste time and rip my dress off in a flash. Matteo. I gasp. You owe me, remember? He whispers into my ear. I shiver as he attacks my neck with need and hurry. Soon we're a tangled mess, hot and sweaty. And then we did again all night. The next morning I wake up sore all over, but instead of feeling happy and contented, I feel anger, possessiveness, and betrayal. When I finally open my connection with Carla, those feelings hit me stronger. Carla, what's going on? I ask Camilla. Finally, why did you block our connection? She asks. Well, I start but she cuts me off. Doesn't matter. I need to tell you something. I smelt a she-whore in Matteo's office last night when you found him, and I know who that whore is. She's 35. Camilla's POV. What? Carla, what are you talking about? I ask. You heard me loud and clear, Cam. I'm going to kill that whore. She growls. Okay, slow down. Tell me what you smelt. I tell her. And for 5 full minutes she tells me everything. Are you really sure about this, Carla? You know Matteo and what he has been through. He wouldn't do this to me because he knows how much it hurts. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm starting to doubt his stories. How could he explain what I smelt in that room? No one else would dare go to office just to hook up. I sigh. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because I know who he truly is. Fine, I'll talk to him. I say. She huffs and goes to the back of my mind to calm herself down. I freshen up and throw on something simple. I go down for breakfast and everyone is here except Matteo. Where's Matteo? I ask. Busy with his work already. Caitlin says. I nod. I grab a tray and put 2 servings of breakfast and take them to Matteo. As I got to his office in the pack house, Carla starts to growl. I tell her to calm down. I open the door and see Matteo behind the table busy with paperwork. Hey you, why didn't you stop for breakfast? I ask. There's just so much paperwork to do. He says. I sigh. Come on, eat first. When he wouldn't budge, I go and drag him out of his chair. He finally gives in and goes to the couch and start eating. As I eat with him, I try to sniff out anything weird but don't find any. There's nothing, Carla. That jerk is hiding her very well then. She sneers. I sigh. I feel a warm hand hold mine and I look up and see my mate looking at me with concern. That has got to be the fakest concerned look I've ever seen. She scoffs. Carla, that's enough. I scold her. You can't blame me for acting this way when I smelt something out of the ordinary, Cam. She says and blocks connection with me. I sigh. Hey, you okay? He asks. I contemplate whether or not tell him and decided to just tell him. He is my life partner. Carla is just acting out. I say. He nods. Mason felt it too. He said she's too angry to talk to him. Don't worry, she'll calm down. I say and he nods. Right then, I decided to gather enough evidence for Carla's accusation before speaking to him about it. But I pray to the moon goddess Carla's wrong. For the rest of my week while Carla refused to talk to me, I observed Matteo and have the girls keep an eye on him too. Every night, they wouldn't be able to give anything weird about him, and this relieved me because I'm right about Matteo. The following Monday, I happily grab lunch for Matteo and I to eat in his office. Both of us are super busy that we sometimes forget to eat, so we decided to lessen our workload to have time to eat together. As I opened the door to Matteo's office, I wished my eyes would deceive me. I stand there shocked at what I just saw before he pushed her off when he saw me. Carla was right. The tray that was on my hands were now on the floor. I stumble back, feeling sick to my stomach. I couldn't even utter a word while Matteo desperately tried to reach for me. My mate was kissing another she-wolf, and she isn't even some random wolf. He was kissing Aspen. Her hands were all over him and his was on her waist. Remembering that just made my heart sink lower. I have to get out of here. I turn around and ran out of there. Matteo calls after me and right behind me. I close my mind link and ran faster, and soon I lose Matteo and I hide far from everyone. Without a second thought, I ran to the mansion undetected. I grab the twins from their room, a car key, and drive out of the packland and back to where I'm originally from without a word to anyone. Gina's POV. A strong wave of the border hit us, telling us that someone just left the land without permission, and suddenly I felt dread. What's going on? I ask. Sora. Luna just left. She says quietly. What? I run out of the room and find Haley coming towards me with a scared look. Hales. Call. She wrapped me in a hug. sharing the same feeling as me. Come on, let's go find out what happened, I say. We run to the mansion and look through all the rooms, and come to find out she left with the twins in a car. Haley tries to mind link Camilla but fails. She closed her mind link. She says, where could she have gone? Let's first find out what happened. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but let's go find my brother. Before we leave the mansion, we hear furniture and glass breaking. Following the sound, we arrive at his home office. We gasp at the mess he created. My eyes find my brother wrecking another furniture. Matteo. By my voice he stops. He looks up and I finally get to have a good look at him, and he looks like a mess. His eyes mismatched and hair disheveled. His eyes goes to his normal ones and I finally see the distress. Gina. He calls and hurriedly comes to me, holding my arms. Where is she? Where did she go? Why did she leave me? She said she wouldn't. He says he's losing it. Sora says worriedly, go have a talk with Mason in your world. I say I feel her nod and she closes our connection. Calm down. Tell me what happened. He looks at me with hopelessness, and as his sister, it hurts me to see him like this. Matteo, what have you done that drove Camilla to leave with your kids without a word? 36. Third person's POV. While Matteo was telling his sister what happened, Camilla appeared to be calm, but she was altogether heartbroken and betrayed inside. Carla was right all along. There was a she-wolf and it had to be Aspen. Does that mean Aspen was telling the truth all along? That they used to fill each other's sexual desires? Shaking her head, Camilla just continues driving, pushing her thoughts to the deep bottom of her mind. Soon, she arrives and drives past the border guards as they bow. She parks at the mansion she lived in before she left and carefully carry out the twins. She shuts the door and turns off the car as she goes inside. At her presence arriving, the pack lands. Her parents greets her from the entrance of the living room. Camilla. Her mother calls in surprise. Darling, what a surprise. Her father says. Camilla smiles behind the agonizing pain she's feeling and hugs her parents. I just thought I'd stay for a few days since it's been a while and I miss you guys, she says as her parents each take a twin. Theo and Rosalie share a look as they know what's going on. They know Camilla wouldn't just show up unannounced on a random day. Just then, the front door bursts open and Camilla turns around and sees her brother and her best friend, who she hasn't seen since she left. Camilla. Benedict calls in surprise. Both men engulfs her in an embrace. That's when Camilla breaks down. She cries as quietly as she could, but she knows they can still hear her. She holds up strong enough not to worry her parents, knowing well enough it's useless, but breaks down as soon as someone hugs her tightly. Benedict mind links his parents to give them some space and will tell Camilla to talk to them about her problem later. They nod and go into the living room with the twins. Can I have some time with Parker? Camilla says quietly. Cam, are you sure you don't want to talk about it with your brother first? I'm sure. I know how he'll react once I tell him, and I just want someone to listen, Camilla says. Benedict nods, understanding his sister. He tends to go overboard with his protectiveness towards her when he finds out someone hurts her. I understand. Tell me when you're ready, okay? I promise I won't react rashly, Benedict says. Camilla nods and goes out to her favorite spot with Parker. Meanwhile, Gina's marching towards where she could find Aspen while her mate and Kyle keeps an eye on Matteo. Once she found Aspen, she whips her wand out. I know I promised to use this on emergencies only, so I'm sorry Harley, but this is going to be a one-time thing, Gina mumbles, apologizing to her witch friend. Pointing the wand, the gloating Aspen screams when she starts to float and gets slammed against the wall behind her twice. Her minions scream and run away. Gina drops her and she marches towards her, towering over her. Aspen looks up and her eyes widen upon seeing an enraged beta princess. Be beta princess. She stutters. Gina grabs her by the neck and pull her up. How dare you? Gina speaks slowly, shaking with rage. I don't know what you mean, beta princess. Aspen chokes out. Gina smirks and goes back to glaring. You don't know what I'm talking about, or are you just acting dumb and innocent like you usually do? Be beta princess, please. Oh, now you have the guts to beg for your life. Gina laughs humorlessly. Gina levels Aspen down and glares straight to her eyes. Not only did you sleep with half the men in our pack and have no dignity whatsoever, you have the guts to come up with a lie and kiss my brother, who is your alpha king and has a mate, and you want to beg for your life. Gina screams. Nobody hurts my brother. Gina says as she slams Aspen on the ground with every word be beta p princess. Please. You what? Sorry. Do you know what you did to your Alpha and Luna? Why do I even ask? Of course you know. You are fully aware because that was your plan, you disgusting whore. Gina says as she punch and slap Aspen. Before she could throw another punch, her mate scent engulfs her and he comes and pulls her off as guards pull up a bloodied Aspen, coughing and gasping for air while Gina is breathing heavily. Lock her up. She isn't allowed to have any visitors and no one is allowed to open her cells besides me, not even the Alpha. Levi says sternly. The guards nod and drag Aspen away. Levi looks down at his enraged mate, who is still breathing heavily and has tears on her eyes. This is the second time, how dare she? Gina says. Levi says nothing but comfort her quietly. A few hours later, Gina has completely calmed down. Levi, we have bring Camilla back or else. Gina trails off. Hey, she will come back. Don't worry. Gina nods and rests her head on Levi as they go back. Back at the mansion, Gina goes up to Matteo's room but can't find him anywhere. Panicking, she searches every room and finds him in Camilla's old room. Matteo. Gina calls quietly. Matteo slowly turns to his sister, looking like life has left him. Gina's heart aches at seeing her brother at this state. She goes him and embraces him in a tight hug. She said she wouldn't ever leave me. Matteo says quietly, I know. Then why did she? Matteo screams, pushing himself out of the embrace. Matteo, this was never your fault and she left not knowing the whole story. We'll talk to her and bring her back, okay? What if she doesn't? What if she doesn't want anything to do with me anymore? That won't happen. Camilla loves you very much. Don't you believe in your love? Gina asks. Matteo drops to his knees, breathing heavily. He sighs. I do, but I don't know. Everything will be okay. Camilla loves you, okay? Gina says. She hugs her brother tightly as Matteo cries like he never cried. Matteo wonders why things like these happen to him so much. What did he do to deserve such pain and unfairness? 37 Camilla's POV. Parker and I sit on the lake where we would always feel the cool breeze at night. We sit in silence and I was grateful Parker doesn't ask but waits for me to be ready. Letting out a sigh, I wipe my tears and I start to tell him everything. I don't leave a single detail out as I tell Parker. After I'm done, he ponders on what I shared. I think you should talk to him. He says, what? Why? Well, for one, I know it looks like he was cheating on you, but you didn't feel any pain, did you? He asks and I shake my head no. He nods. That just means he didn't kiss back but the she-wolf initiated it. Second, you didn't hear him out first, which I don't blame you because you were heartbroken and shocked. Third, as much as I miss you and I want you to stay longer, you need to go back ASAP or else your distance will affect the pack negatively. Parker finishes. I ponder through what he said. Parker was always the level-headed and unbiased out of the three of us, which was why we would always go to him when we needed hard truth to punch us back to reality. It was why Parker is the beta. I groan as I realized he was right. When a wolf found its mate, you would feel the betrayal through your stomach whenever your mate is pleasuring someone else. And I didn't feel bit of pain when Carla told me about her suspicion. Carla was so blinded with jealousy and anger that she didn't realize and I didn't feel any pain of betrayal. I sigh. I know I'm right, you don't have to say it. Parker says proudly. I roll my eyes but chuckle. We sit on the lake for a few more hours catching up. By the time it's 9 p.m., Parker walks me back to the mansion and bids me good night. He leaves and I let out a sigh as I have to tell my parents and Ben. I walk into the living room and see them there with the twins. I sit with Mom and tell them why I'm here and what's gonna happen. They nod as they understand. Ben looks like he would bolt out of here and kill Matteo, but he calms himself when I turn to glare at him. I'll just be here until tomorrow, then I'll go back by 7 p.m. I say. As they nod, I wince and clutch my chest. Alarmed, they swarm around me and about to call the pack doctor. After a while, the pain subsides and I could breathe again. What was that? I ask. It happens when you leave your mate and pack abruptly. Mom says. Well, it's a good thing I'm going back tomorrow. I say, chuckling lightly to lighten up the mood. That night, I cuddle with the twins to sleep. I wake up the next morning feeling worse than yesterday. I groan as I sit up. Another wave of pain hits me and it lasted for a minute. I calm myself before I get up and quickly get ready. I feed the twins, then go down to have my own breakfast. How did you sleep, dear? Mom asks worriedly. Fine. I smile. You are not staying here till tonight. You have to go back after lunch. Parker will accompany you. But monobuts. You are the Luna Queen and you ran away from your pack, Camilla. You are going back after lunch and that's final. Mom says sternly. I huff, but I know she's right. The longer I stay away, the more painful it will get. I spend what remaining time I have left going around the pack with the twins, greeting the pack members and seeing how everyone's doing. By the time lunch passes, Parker sits on the driver's side as I bid my family goodbye. Get her back safely, Parker. Ben says, of course, Alpha. Parker says. I get in the car and we drive off. Halfway there, I feel my connection with Carla lift. Carla quietly enters my mind, and I feel her guilt and sadness. Camilla, I'm sorry. She whimpers. It's okay, Carla. I understand why you felt that way. I miss him. She whispers. We're almost home. I feel her nod and settle down quietly. We soon arrive. The guards step aside and bows as they know it's me. I direct Parker to the mansion and gets there in a few minutes. As he parks, I see Gina and Haley comes running out. I get out and almost got knocked to the ground. They pull away and bombard me with words that I can only understand, where Matteo is innocent and he didn't cheat on me. I know. And hails, there's someone here that I think you missed. I smirk. Haley squeals as she sees Parker getting out of the car. She goes around and attacks him. That's Parker, the beta of my old pack and our best friend. I tell Gina. My hair all stand as I smell him. I look to the front door and see him coming out slowly. Carla whimpers at the sight of our mate. He's in such a terrible shape. And it's all because of me. Carla says, close to crying. I comfort Carla before I look back at my mate. Parker comes around and puts his arm around me as he greets Gina. This angers Matteo and he comes bolting to us, pushing Parker to the ground and landing on top of him. Before he could do anything, I snap at Matteo. Page 38. Camilla's POV. Matteo, stop. I scream. He was breathing heavily with rage, possessiveness, and jealousy. Get off and be nice to my best friend. I say sternly. He reluctantly follows what I say and huffs. Just so you know, Alpha King, I have a maid of my own and she's back home with our 1-year-old daughter. Parker says, dusting off dirt. Matteo looks away embarrassed but masks it with a glare as I roll my eyes. Oh my goddess, what? Haley squeals. Parker turns to Haley with a grin. Yup. Our little pup is named Milan and my mate is half human, half werewolf. She's the best. I met her briefly. I say, grinning. As we all converse, I feel a light tug on my arm and I turn to see Matteo looking at me with sad puppy eyes. Can we talk? He asks quietly. I nod and excuse myself from everyone. Matteo leads me to our room after I leave the twins with Caitlin. He closes the door and turns to me. He starts to explain his side of what happened in a hurry. He comes closer to me, with his eyes bloodshot red from crying. Please don't leave me. He whimpers. What makes you think I'm going to leave you? I ask, surprised. When you took the twins with you, and you don't know how miserable I was when you left like that. I never would have thought my whole world would shattered and be lifeless. Please don't leave me. He whispers. Matteo. Please. He begs, kissing my face all over. He kisses over his mark on my neck and I fight the urge to moan. Matteo. I call and stop him firmly this time. He stops and looks at me again with his sad puppy eyes. I cup his face and look at him. I was gone for a day because I needed to think clearly, but I'm back now and I'm not going to leave you. We're okay. I say, we are. I nod. Parker helped me think through things and I realized you never betrayed me because I didn't feel any pain. He hugs me tight and buries his head into my neck, inhaling my scent. I missed you. He whispers. I missed you too. But I want to show you just how much I missed you. He whispers, his voice getting husky. He crashes his lips into mine and I melt, forgetting how much I missed his lips on mine. His hands roam around my body, landing on my hips and gripping onto the band of my jeans, pulling me closer to him. He swiftly rips them off and pushes me onto the bed. He climbs on top of me and kisses over his mark as he slips 2 fingers in me. As he hears me softly moan, he picks up his pace and I moan out his name. His kisses trails down to my center and he starts licking. Oh my goddess, Matteo. I moan out, gripping on his hair. Soon, he takes off his bottoms and quickly thrusts his length into me. I cry out as he starts with a fast pace, driving me quick to the edge. Goddess knows how much I missed you. He huskily say as he thrusts even faster and deeper. We soon came to our end and he collapses beside me. Seconds later we were at it again and again. We soon collapse into a deep sleep. I wake up the next morning in a better mood but sore. My eyes flutter open and I see my mate already looking at me with fondness and love in his eyes. Well, good morning. I smile softly. I love you, he says, his voice raspy. I smile. I love you too. He kisses me softly with love and care. I'm so glad you are my mate and you showed me what real love is. I may not be quick to trust again, but you taught me how to love and care. I look at him with a questioning stare. What's with you all of the sudden? It's just, before I met you, I told myself I would reject anyone who claims to be my mate because of what happened. When I finally met you, I find it hard to reject you even though I told myself I didn't like you. And then you warmed me up and taught me so much. When you left, it's like my whole world fell apart, and I can't live with myself if you end up leaving me. Matteo poured his heart out to me. This is the most vulnerable he has been with me, and he has indeed changed. I smile fondly at my mate, proud of how far he came emotionally and mentally. I kiss him softly on his forehead. I love you so much. I love you more. We lie in bed in each other's arms for a few minutes until I hear the twins cry. I sigh. Here comes your mother, my lovely pups. Say that more happier, why don't you? Matteo says sarcastically. I roll my eyes and throw a pillow at his face. He laughs as I leave the room. After feeding the twins, I freshen up and go down to have breakfast. The mood was light and cheery until Levi brings up the cause of my abrupt departure. What are we going to do with Aspen? Gina growls lowly in anger as Matteo's face hardens, tightening his hold on me. I soothe him with caresses on his thigh. She will be banished. Matteo says with finality in his voice, let's just get it over with and kill her. Gina growls. Gina, is that how a beta princess should act? Caitlin scolds her. Gina huffs as Levi calms her down. After breakfast, Matteo, Levi, and I go down to the dungeon. Gina was forced to be left behind because her blood just boils every time Aspen was mentioned. We stop in front of Aspen's cell and I was shocked to see she's got dry blood all over face. Aspen looks up and gasps. She comes scrambling closer but winces at the wolfsbane lace chains on her wrists. Matteo, please, it's Alpha King to you, you disrespectful mutt. Levi snaps. She glares at Levi and looks back to Matteo with her fake innocence. Her eyes shifts to me and it hardens. What is she doing here? 39 Camilla's POV. Matteo raises an eyebrow at Aspen as I smirk. She is your Luna Queen and I see you still refuse to respect me. You still refuse to admit that I am the mate of your Alpha, and for what? Because you want the power and be the Luna Queen. Aspen glares hard at me. Shut up. I won't submit to you because you are a fake. I am the real Luna Queen. You got in my way and I should have killed you when I first saw you. She growls. Matteo growl at her blunt disrespect. She visibly flinches but goes back to glaring at me. You still have the guts to compete with me when you're rotting in there. I laugh humorlessly. You are something else. Aspen turns to Matteo, pleading. Please, please let me go. I am your rightful mate. Don't let her brainwash you. Matteo raises an eyebrow. My rightful mate. He scoffs. What a joke. You reek of desperation. Stop embarrassing yourself before I change my mind about being merciful. Merciful? What do you mean? Aspen asks. You are banished from this pack and will live as a rogue till you die. No other pack will be allowed to take you in as you committed treason. Levi tells her what? Banished? Treason? Matteo, please. Don't let this lowlife mud of a whore get into your head. Yo. What? Did you say? Matteo slowly says, taking threatening steps closer to her cell. Levi and Matteo start to growl at Aspen for her disrespect towards me. Good job screwing up your only chance at surviving life. I say, rolling my eyes. Aspen, you won't be banished anymore. You are hereby subject to death. You have crossed the line too many times and I have been too patient and shown you mercy. But it ends today. Matteo says with a hard look on his face. All colors drain from her face. No, please, Levi calls the guard over to open the cell door. Standing behind a pleading Aspen, Matteo gives his signal and he snaps her neck. She drops to the ground lifeless. The guard drags her body out as I exhale the breath I've been holding. Matteo comes towards me and pulls me in a hug as he felt my emotions. It's all over now. Matteo whispers and inhales my scent. I nod. We all went back up and come face to face with Gina, who's smirking victoriously by the door. What happened to showing mercy? She was testing my patience and went too far. Matteo grumbles. I never knew she was that delusional. Levi says maybe she wasn't always that way. I trail off. What are you saying? Matteo asks me. I could feel him getting upset that it seems like I'm defending Aspen for her actions. Maybe she was actually a decent person before she got rejected by her mate and turned into who she is. I say that is possible. Levi murmurs, seemingly thinking back. Matteo grumbles, I would know if one of my people got rejected. No, you won't. Nobody tells anyone they got rejected, it's humiliating. You don't know how much people would talk and how rumors would go out of hand if people knew. Matteo doesn't say anything but keeps his eyebrows furrowed. I sigh as Gina shrugs her shoulders before leaving with her mate. Flashback. Aspen's POV 19 years old. Millie, Milo, and I went racing to the neutral land between our pack and another. I let out a wolfish laugh as I'm right ahead of them. I've always been the fastest among the three of us, but they are a year older than me. I jump midair and land on my 2 feet as I shift midair. The twins shift back into their human body and catches their breath as they see me steadily land on my feet. Way to be extra, Pen. Millie says you're fast and better than us, we get it. Milo says, rolling his eyes, I didn't say it, you did. Thank you. I say as I bow. Millie and Milo are twins and the Delta's kids. We became friends when we were in grade school. They protected me from bullies whenever they would come and pick on me. When they turned 18, Milo found his mate but Millie didn't. She wasn't that sad about it, but she was a little envious of her brother. We walk into Go to Bistro for some comforting food, and I immediately smell an intoxicating scent. I froze as I realize I'm about to meet my mate. Guys. I feel their eyes on me. I think I found my mate. I say what? My eyes search for his and they finally land on him, but something felt different. Without another word, he comes marching to me. My lips turned into a smile as I'm about to become whole with my mate. But I was wrong. With his hard, glaring eyes looking straight at me, he uttered the words I never thought I'd hear from him. I, Daniel of White Eclipse, reject you as my mate. My whole world shattered, my heart was breaking into pieces. What? But, you don't even know me yet. I say. All I know is you aren't an alpha's daughter or even remotely close to that. He says harshly. I'm also in love with someone else and she's going to be my mate. Not you. With a final glare he leaves me all broken. My wolf whimpers in pain and shuts off our connection as I was slowly slipping into depression. I didn't know him at all, but he was already my whole world, my other half. Millie and Milo both glare and growl at my mate the whole time as I was slowly going close to my sadness. They help me go back home and do anything to comfort me, but I shut them off. I let them do what they want as I was too numb to say or do anything. A year passes and I was slowly doing okay. I no longer feel the bond as it was already severely damaged for me to feel anything. Something changed for me when I decided to get back on my feet. My sadness turned into hatred and anger. How dare he reject me for another? And just because I'm not an alpha's daughter. As I let my hatred and anger for my mate consume me, I let myself and my sanity go and target every male in our pack. I didn't care if they are mated or not, and I didn't care if it doesn't make sense why I would sleep with every male I see. I was already an empty shell filled with hatred and couldn't see things clearly. I just wanted to fill my loneliness and prove I'm worth it. Every compliment after I rocked their world and make it impossible for them to forget me, and every reject I give after, it fueled my pride. I was amazing, I was worth it. 45 years later, Camilla's POVZ, get back here. No. I hear the twins' footsteps upstairs as one of them tries to catch the other. Give it back before I ruin yours, see. Try me. I groan as I rub my temples while Matteo chuckled from across me. It's a good thing we only have 2 kids, huh? He asked. I look at him with tired eyes and see his is sparkling with amusement. You're enjoying this too much. I sigh, of course I am. I glare at him and he shrugs with a smile. I get up from my chair and step out of the office. Zion and Zoe Hart, if you both don't stop, I swear you both aren't having any playtime with Milan tomorrow. I shout. Footsteps stop abruptly, replacing with slow, quiet walks, and I hear their murmurs, accusing one another. Look what you did, see. It's not all on me. Do I hear murmurs? I shout silence. I sigh and go back in, slumping in my chair. Minutes later, my 5-year-olds come walking in slowly, looking at me with puppy eyes. I glance towards Matteo and see his eyes happily watching our kids come towards me. Zoe hides behind her brother. Mama. Zion calls quietly. I look back at them and see him standing tall and protecting his sister, but I could also feel he didn't want to do anything that might upset me further. Yes, Zion. Zoe whimpers, we're sorry, Mama. She says quietly. I sigh, it's okay, sweetie. Zoe comes out and runs towards me. She hugs my leg and hides her face. I pick her up and pat her back. Can we still play with Milan tomorrow? She asks. Of course, sweetie. Her face lights up and she squeals. 5 whole years has passed since everything that happened. The packs that Drea destroyed have been rebuilt, with 2 more packs left being in the process of rebuilding. Nothing else has been bothering us since, except the usual problems of rogues and people wanting to be royalty and doing everything they can to overthrow us, but that's always a fail for them. The twins are growing up nicely and well behaved as I've taught them. They've met Milan and have been the bestest friends ever since. They've yet to meet Ivory, Gina and Levi's 3-year-old girl and Alan, Haley and Kyle's 4-year-old boy. The office door burst open and in comes a giggling Ivory and a calm Alan. Trailing behind them are a pair of tired mothers. I giggle at how they both look. They sharply throw me a glare before going back to watching their kids. Zion and Zoe watches both kids in interest. Zion goes closer to Alan while Zoe breaks into a grin and joins Ivory. So, how's motherhood treating you both? I ask, cracking a slight humor. You have eyes, you know how it's currently treating me. Gina says in a cranky manner. Excuse her, she hasn't had sleep in days. Haley says with a sigh. I stifle a laugh and clear my throat. Well then, go take your much-needed beauty sleep. I'll watch little Ivory for you. Gina's eyes light up with life. With no other hesitation, she drops everything and bolts out of the room. Haley looks at the door for a moment and then turns to look at me with hope. I giggle and gesture the door. She squeals quietly and leaves. The kids play together, unaware that their mother has left for some needed self-care. I place the bags of the couch and close the door. I go back to my seat and finish my task. By the time nighttime comes, the kids all yawn and rub their eyes. Gina and Haley comes back to the office looking better than the way they came. Their face looks a bit brighter than before and hair washed and tied neatly. They both shoot me a grateful look before grabbing their kids to feed them. Matteo and I grab each kid's hand and we all go down for dinner. Dinner finishes happily and slowly. As Caitlin takes the kids for their nightly bonding, Matteo and I decide to take a walk around the garden. We walk hand in hand as we reminisce our past and when I first came here. I remember seeing you and Mom out here talking and then she hugged you. Back then I felt so angry and betrayed at Mom because of how I felt about women claiming to be my mate. I thought you were buddying up to Mom and I hated you then. You hated me? I ask, faking a shock. Matteo chuckles lightly. Not anymore though, I love you a lot. He cups my cheek gently and places a kiss on my lips. He pulls away and looks at me with sparkling eyes. You've changed me and saved me from my past traumas. You don't know how much I'm so thankful for you. I softly smile at him and cup both his cheeks. It was all you, I was just there to help you to be better. Just then I remembered what Caitlin told me before. My smile widens and Matteo looks at me with a curious gaze. You know, Mom told me something when I first got here. I say, leading Matteo to sit on the bench. Yeah. At this very same bench, she told me she could feel I'm the next Luna Queen, and that I'm the only one who could help you and fight alongside you. She asked me to help her get the old Matteo back. Matteo smiles softly, he chuckles and pulls me into a warm embrace. And you did, but I'm better than my old self. He says that you are. I giggle. He pulls away and looks down at me. I love you so damn much, my queen. I'm so thankful the moon goddess paired me up with you. I love you most, my king. I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. He smiles and kisses me gently but passionately. At some point we end up in our bedroom, door locked and clothes off, tangled together underneath the duvet. We spend the night proving yet again how much we mean to each other and love one another. If you like this story, subscribe to us and look forward to more wonderfulness in the future.